Hey guys, sorry I missed my stream last night. I got home super late from my kid's baseball game, and I just couldn't even make myself like turn on the stream. I tried. I actually had Streamlabs brought up, and I was gonna give it a go. I was gonna try to just wing it, and hang on, let me get my camera on. There we are, we're live. Yeah, I was gonna just try to stream something last night, whether it's a game or maybe just chat for a little bit, but I didn't have the mental faculties to pull it off. Honestly, tonight, I just got home a little bit ago from my daughter's softball game. We got done like an hour earlier, so it's a little bit easier to jump on here now and just kind of chit chat, but I was bummed. I was really hoping to do a game stream last night. We'll do it next week. We'll get back to normal, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I figured there's a lot that we can kind of chat about, a lot to talk about tonight, just to kind of fill in everyone who's missed some of the more interesting off-the-wall stories from this week before we get to Monday, of course, which is a brand new week. What are you barking at? Bourbon, hey, come here. Come here. My dog is losing his mind. Come here, puppy dog. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. No, no, no. The neighbor just got home. Of course, his dog is freaking out. All right, Burbs, come here. Come here. Get over here. All right. You can just sit with me for a minute. Anyways, guys, before we chit-chat about some of the stuff I wanted to bring up tonight, just a quick reminder. I know MetaPCs has put out this message on Twitter, on social media, that they can't guarantee pricing and all that and availability given the whole tariff situation, which is a whole nother, God, the whole Nintendo delay tariff thing going on online where everyone thinks, oh my God, the price was because the tariffs and this and that's. Like, no, it's because Nintendo's being greedy. Let's be fair about this. They had that price set to go before the tariffs went into place. That being said, Meta has put out a message saying if you're looking to get a PC, they have enough parts right now without the prices going up, without availability becoming an issue, but get your order in soon because they can't guarantee how long availability is gonna last. So if you've been looking to do a PC through them, if you've been thinking about getting some financing, they do have financing on their website. And of course, if you use the link below, use my code TIBO, it'll save you a little bit of money. Helps the channel out as well. I know I need to pick up, actually the computer I'm looking at for work is just their basic one. Where is this one at, ready to ship? I think I'm just gonna grab one of these ones that has a 4060 in it for work. Like this black guy here, I think they're called Ember. Just because I need something at work that's reliable, that's not gonna be like a HP piece of shit out of the box. That being said, like I said, I can't guarantee how long they're gonna have this stuff in stock. So, hey Demi, how's it going? Are you saying ooh-woo, or is that supposed to be a face? Because honestly, I don't do the whole ooh-woo thing. It's not for me. Yeah, so anyways, guys, let me get the music turned off. I wanted to talk about South of Midnight a little bit because South of Midnight has had a lot of press coverage, has had a lot of people talking it up, and despite that, the reviews are coming in and it's not great. Like, despite the fact that the game has had decent reviews, it's funny because it just seems like the reviews are not good. They're not doing it any good whatsoever. Yo, I didn't know that Moxie was streaming tonight. She didn't tell me. They got like 600 people in there watching. That's incredible. Holy crap. Your Gooner levels are too powerful for me. Honestly, you're probably right. I could never compete at the same level as anybody else when it comes to gooning. I'm too old. Japanese Twitter was saying something about the prices being a countermeasure for resellers. Interesting. Well, all I know about Twitter, I didn't know that there was quote unquote Japanese Twitter. I should have assumed. I've seen Japanese people on there. But like the only other cesspools I've fallen into on Twitter was Black Twitter. And my God, once you have gotten stuck on the Black Twitter side of things, there's no coming back from that. It is awful. It is so unhinged, it's not even funny. That being said, South of Midnight currently has, let me refresh this, 315 people in game. Now, what's crazy about that is they actually have increased the player numbers today by about, I want to say like 40 players. If you went back to the launch night, they didn't hit 500 players. And then, of course, the next day they actually lost players. So they managed to hit a new peak today of 566 for early access. Oh, no worries, Demi. Power World. Oh no, you're not gonna do the Power World dating sim, are you? I'm sure you probably will. Oh my god, there's only 846 people on Twitch watching this game right now. Embrace the Rumble. You know, Librium, here's the thing, man. I stream to Rumble as well as, you know, Twitch and Kick when I'm doing gaming, and then YouTube, and of course Twitter. And I've actually thought of adding BitChute as a live option when I'm doing my streams where we talk about news and everything else, like on Monday and Wednesday. So it's not that I'm not trying to like push Rumble and try to push alt tech. The problem is that Rumble just doesn't have, despite the fact that my videos, you know, I might get a new follower every 3 videos I upload on Rumble or whatever, or occasionally like somebody might interact on a live stream. It just doesn't have the level of like, there's not the amount of people there. It just isn't. Obviously, but that's not out yet. Yeah, I kind of figured. Hey, Nightcore, Black Twitter thinks tan Japanese anime characters are black god. Black Twitter is full of retards. Yeah, no, Black Twitter it's a cesspool. But yeah, so Librium, like, I'm gonna be streaming to Rumble both, you know, Monday, Wednesday when I'm doing just like news and talking with guests, as well as Friday when I do game streams. I just don't, for me personally, Rumble is not the platform that does anything for me. I want it to. I want it to be great. I want Rumble to succeed. I mean, I've even tried looking into using Rumble Studio instead of Streamlabs, but Rumble Studio is just not in the condition where I can give up Streamlabs and walk away and use Rumble Studio instead. It's missing too many features, you know? There's a big push. Well, you know what, dude? Hang there. Maybe it'll get some more viewers in there. I have no problem with that, man. Why do all the black girl magic games fail? Hey, Norse Scout, how you doing, buddy? I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you with their own words. Let me go full screen for you guys so we can look at some of this stuff, okay? You get 100% from subs on Rumble. Yeah, but dude, I don't even think. Well, that's through locals, isn't it? Like, okay, does Rumble have a sub feature? Because I thought that was all through like locals memberships or whatever. Every Twitter space is a cesspool to everyone not in that Twitter space, from what I've seen. Okay, that's pretty fair. I think that's a fair way of looking at it, especially when you look at like the console war fandom and all that other shit. It's pretty bad. So I don't know, Librium, are we talking about like, we talking like locals subs, or is it a whole different feature now? Because honestly, like, let me pull up Rumble here. Let me look at Rumble real quick. Rumble. Now a monthly supporter. What the hell, dude? I don't even know what you subscribe to. It has subs and memberships? Well, Librium, thank you so much for subscribing. I just don't know what that tier level is at. I have no idea. Rumble's this year is trying to compete with YouTube by being mid. Yeah, mid 2010s YouTube. But pre-Google YouTube is what you should be going for. Why does nobody implement stars anymore? Those were the days. You're glad you never used Twitter in your entire life. For 38 years? Never used Twitter? Anyways, Librium, dude, thank you for the Rumble subscription. I'm gonna have to look into the subscription settings, because I know with, you know, YouTube and Twitter, not Twitter, well, even with Twitter, but, you know, most every other website, streaming platform, social media platform, you can set like subscription tiers and everything else, and like, you know, rewards for those. I don't know if I have all that set up on Rumble or not. Hey Ryan, I'm tired. That's why I didn't stream last night, because my kid had a baseball game that got over late, and I got home and I'm like, I'm so beat, I just can't. And then, you know, I was like, tonight was a little bit better. I'm still not playing a game tonight because I just can't focus on that. But I figured we could talk about some of this other fun stuff. Yeah, Ryan, honestly, I like Rumble. I like Rumble. I will watch content on it. I think the Lotus Eaters, when they did their election stream, they did that on Rumble. I watched it on there. It's just I don't understand what it is about other platforms besides YouTube and Twitch Because Twitch for live streaming for video games is fantastic. I wish YouTube's live streams for games were as good as Twitch, but Twitch kind of has a corner on the market there. And then I wish that Rumble was as good as YouTube when it came to like live streams and videos and that kind of stuff. But hey, FaZe Beast, hell. Well, you could say hell. I mean, my week was kind of hell. Oh my God. Librium, I don't think you are on Discord with us. I was lamenting my real work life because I've had this shipping disaster from California, and I have to find a new shipper now, and it's been a complete shit show. So without getting into too many personal, information divulging situations going on, I've had a nightmare of a week. Twitch has good problems with the ecosystem on it. Twitch is good for what it is. But again, the problem with Twitch is still the fact that it's a cesspool of a platform. Too much brain rot. Hey, you know what? I can respect that. I 100% get it. The more time I spend on Twitter or X, the more brain rot I can admit to having. My name on YouTube sucks and I can't change it. Why can't you change your name on YouTube? Dude, here's what pisses me off about Rumble. You can have your channel names, right? So I have both my channels set up, Minimal Effort Live, Minimal Effort Podcast. I have both my videos. I could live stream to either one. There are parts of Rumble that are super user-friendly. Rumble Studio, not so much. It's missing a lot of key features of like quality of life features. But then there's the issue with my account. When I set up my Rumble account, I set it up through my Xbox gamer tag at the time, which was Run Tebow Run, which was again the joke about Tim Tebow at the time. But I can't change that. I've emailed Rumble support. I'm like, why can't we change our account name? And for whatever reason, you cannot. Once you make an account on Rumble, you cannot change your name. And they go, well, you can make a new account. Yes, but then I have to make new channels or have two separate accounts, one that I upload to both my channels on, or one that I use when I'm just in somebody else's chat. It's stupid. Every platform that exists, whether it's YouTube or Twitch or Rumble or Kick or whatever, you should be able to change your username. I don't understand the reason why they can't. Other than Rumble is just not a good platform. I don't know. But I want it to be. I want it to be a great platform. I want Rumble to succeed. The issue really is Rumble is only liked for having less strict moderation rather than being good. Kick is like, dude, I say Kick all the time, Kick is white trash Twitch, which is saying a lot because Twitch is a dumpster fire as it is, but Kick is worse. Yeah, Sally and Ryan, it is really dumb. Like, I want it to just be a straight up easy, like, I would just rather change my account name to either Tebow or Minimal Effort. Just something super streamlined. But no, it won't let me. Like, why? Because you can't. It's like, why not? I want a reason. Give me a reason, okay? I'm that person that's like, I'd like to have a reason for why I can't do the things I want to do. Like, give me an actual reason. That'd be great. All right, so this one's from The Guardian, guys. So you were talking about North Scout. You were talking about Black Girl Magic, right? Why is all the Black Girl Magic games bad or failing? South of Midnight Review, beautiful surfaces can't hide thin gameplay. What does this sound like, guys? This sounds like Avowed. This sounds like a lot of problems people have had with modern games where the game is really pretty. Hellblade 2, for example. The game's pretty, but lacking substance, lacking gameplay, lacking quality of life features, gameplay mechanics, all these things, because they spend so much time worrying about, making the game representative and having the art be beautiful and having the scenery. And look, I can appreciate the scenery being beautiful. I can appreciate a lot of things. But the problem is, at the expense of combat, at the expense of gameplay or exploration or whatever, it's not a winning strategy. When someone says Kick, I think of streamers like Johnny Somali. Yeah, that's never a good thing to think of. Or Ryan Doherty. Not Ryan Doherty, Jack Doherty. Thinking of some other, not Ryan, I can't remember his name. But no, Jack Doherty is one of those ones I'm like, fetal alcohol syndrome, smack that kid up one side and down the other. And he's like this rich, entitled brat. He's like 4 feet tall. He wrecks his cars. He attacks people. He has his bodyguard defend him so he can play pranks on people. And it's like the most worthless streamer on the planet. I'd say almost worse than Johnny Somali is Jack Doherty. But then there's ones who are almost as bad too. So no, Kick is a dumpster fire. It is. I remember when I first joined Kick. It was wild. I'm talking it was like Twitch with the e-thoughts, but I'm talking these chicks were straight up doing things that you should not be allowed to do on that platform. And eventually they started weeding through some of those, but it was nasty for a while. Oh yeah, Aiden Ross and Sneeko. Exactly. If it wasn't a new game in series, they would have said the game was a return to form. Yeah, exactly. 100%. That's exactly it. So, a spellcasting high school athlete. Okay, first of all, nuisance streamers is what hurt kick. Yeah, 100% Librium. So, I don't want to play a high school girl. Look, you can have the argument that or the conversation that you do or don't want to play a woman, or that playing a black woman, you automatically know it's a red flag that's going to be woke. I mean, we should be able to have these conversations where you go, there should be a game with a black protagonist, black female protagonist, where you don't inherently think the game is going to be a dog shit game, right? That shouldn't be a thing. Because whatever, vehicle they choose to use to tell a story, it shouldn't matter as long as the story is good and the gameplay is good. The problem is we've seen so many red flags recently that's like, okay, another one of these games where you just know it's not going to be great, right? High school athlete. I don't care what the character looks like, if it's a man or a woman, white or black, gay or straight. I don't want to play a high schooler. I mean, I think that's fair, right? How many of you guys want to play a teenager in your video games? I know Spider-Man's a teenager, I'm sure, in some of them. And to be honest, I don't play a whole lot of Spider-Man games, so I don't have to put up with it. Smash had a great point. Visuals are like cherry on top of an ice cream sundae. 100%. You got to have the ice cream first. Never seen anybody talk good about Kick. It was just Twitch for PDF files who were open about being... I don't think you're wrong there, Demi. This game was made by Canadians. Damn it, Canada. Canada did it again. Canadians. All right, spellcasting. High school athlete ventures into the heart of Southern folklore in this distinct yet uneven action adventure. Telltale TWD Lee was great protagonist, and later Clem as a female protagonist. Yeah, first red flag was the Montreal-based devs. First red flag was when you heard that Sweet Baby Inc. was involved. First red flag is when you've had games like Forspoken and Flintlock Siege of Dawn and the race swapping and other games where you go, this is being done for a reason, isn't it? Yeah, those are your initial red flags. Soaring development costs, protracted production cycles, cautious G suites looking to, or C suites. Guys, I'm retarded tonight. Test. I can see you, Equilibrium. You're good. Did you change your name? Warframe and Superman still the only good Canadian exports. Warframe, dude, that game is awesome. I wish I had time to even care to get back into that game, but Warframe is freaking awesome, man. So, cautious C-suites looking to deliver reliable returns for shareholders. For many reasons, there is a dearth of original programming in big-budget video games. Already this year, we have seen the arrival of 7th mainline Civilization game, the 14th entry in Assassin's Creed, and the most brain-melting of all, the 27th Monster. There's been 27 Monster Hunter games, and I've never played a single one of them? What the hell? But look, here's a magical realist tale set in a moody, hurricane-ravaged imagining of the American Deep South, whose title, crucially, bears no numerical suffix. South of Midnight makes a brilliantly atmospheric first impression. Winds bludgeon flimsy abodes. Rain lashes down on tin roofs. The world is rendered with the macabre and crooked details of a Tim Burton film. See, I don't like the stop motion thing. I don't think it looks good, to be honest. But again, to each their own, whatever. Within minutes, a house, that of high school athlete Hazel and her mother, a social worker, is carried away along a roiling, flooded river. Playing as Hazel, you give chase, bounding with a lanky teenage gait across various platforms until the storm abates. In its wake lie miles of stagnant, fetid swamps. At one grisly point, you explore a farm stacked with the carcasses of pigs who did not survive the typhoon. This sounds cheerful. Very cheery, right? You think they nailed the setting in the game? And that's fair, dude. Honestly, I'm not that kind of person that goes, don't you dare play this game. If you play this game, you're a traitor. I don't care if you buy the game, enjoy the game, like the game or not. It's at the end of the day, the reason this game's not going to do well is because it's not for the majority of people. When people hear Sweet Baby Inc., when people see the same red flags over and over again that they've seen time and time again, and then they think about whether or not it's worth spending the money on, they see reviews that say the gameplay is mid to bad, well, most gamers want a game that plays well, above and beyond everything else, right? The frame-by-frame animations flop. I just don't know why, you know? Pre-woke era had great POC protagonists with no activism. Yeah. You hate me? Why do you hate me, man? What did I do? Millennial writing is abysmal in this one. Hey, why are you blaming us millennials? We didn't do nothing. Come on, man. Americans can only play about 12. Oh, okay, so we don't have all 27 Monster Hunter titles over here in the US. That makes sense now. As a protagonist, Hazel more than holds her own against this vivid and unusual world with the mere flicks of her wrists, connected to which are metaphysical scythe-like blades. Hazel rips through reality itself. For this spunky, determined young woman is a weaver, adept at magically dispelling unsavory spirits lurking amid the weeping willows and glinting glass bottle trees of her southern home. As a weaver, she's able to see an enormous cosmic grand tapestry. You know, great, that's a lot of fluff. Here's where you go. But in the actual playing, South of Midnight is simply thin. With its mostly linear mix of 3D platforming and melee combat, the game evokes PlayStation 2 era titles. Ouch! Yet neither element has much personality. The brawling looks stylish, ending with brutal finishing moves in which Hazel unravels her wraith-like enemies' very fabric of being. Really, it lacks the depth and expressive possibilities of titles such as God of War. Platforming feels floaty until you are vaulting from one conspicuously painted white ledge to another. Then it just feels prescriptive and clunky. What great lengths the team of visual arts, sound designers, and scriptwriters of Microsoft-owned Studio Compulsion went into creating this rugged, earthy place, only to have it undone by gameplay of often mind-numbing smoothness. At various points, you must flee from a nebulous, mist-like entity, but these sequences are so straightforward as to lack any dramatic tension. They repeat many times throughout the game's approximately 12-hour duration, only increasing a little in difficulty each time. So, you know what's funny about that? Thinking about it that way, it kind of sounds like you guys, or how many of you are here are old enough to remember Prince of Persia Warrior Within? Because Warrior Within, that game, when Godsmack, the intro to that song would start playing, and you see the nightmare character, Death or whatever, coming for you, and you had to run for your life, and everything gets kind of kicked up. That was not the easiest thing to escape, alive in that situation, right? Forspoken was not SBI. It was Black Girl Gamers, which is just the British version of SBI. But yes. Hypnotic got through 4 chapters in 2 hours? That's bad, man. Oh, the YouTube changed name. That's why you hate me. Okay, I got you. Oh yeah, Mad Honey. Honestly, if I wasn't making videos covering this stuff, I would use Twitter a lot less. 100%. Never played any of the Prince of Persia games? Hey, Patriot. Hopefully you are well. Hopefully you don't need more coffee to stay up, dude. I'm not going to be streaming super late tonight. I'm thinking wrap things up here in the next hour, hour and a half at the longest. Tonight, I'm trying my vanilla cinnamon chamomile tea. My stream didn't show up when I started. You know, Oblivion, I'm telling you what, man. I don't know if YouTube hates me or if it's something with Streamlabs acting up. It'll be very interesting if I ever switch to like Rumble Studio or StreamYard to see if we still have these issues. I imagine we won't. I imagine things would be different. What do I think of Charlie Kirk? I try not to. No, honestly, I don't have a problem with Charlie Kirk. I don't think I've seen any takes from him that I had reprehensible differences over, but I don't know. I don't really think much about Charlie Kirk. I don't follow him on Twitter. If I do, I don't ever interact with his posts. I have a serious issue with the Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk types, the whole debate me, bro. I'm going to go to a college campus and talk to a bunch of leftoid retards who don't have 2 IQs to rub together to start a fire if they were freezing in, the middle of Antarctica or whatever. And then they win their debate easily because they're talking to somebody who's functionally retarded, and you go, okay, bravo, here's a pat on the back. I mean, I don't know. And we find it weird all these games start getting made after Epic Games did their exclusive agreements. No, I mean, it makes sense, dude. It makes sense that there are agreements in place. Studios get funding through different organizations attached to Epic. I mean, here's the thing. Without going on deep dives and everything else, there are an insane amount of these places that provide funding for different studios and games to be made that suit a narrative, that fit an agenda. And basically what happens is they go, oh, well, we need a certain amount of these games to continue getting this funding or to continue having our ESG score look good or whatever. I mean, there's all these factors that play in, right? The only guy I liked was Steven Crowder because he was clearly more of a comedian. Yeah, Steven Crowder was actually an actor, wasn't he? He was an actor, I think a childhood actor, if I'm not mistaken. Ben Shapiro's going bankrupt. I'll get the tiniest little violin to play for him. I don't like Ben Shapiro. I just don't. I don't hate the guy. I don't have an issue, like specifically have problems with him. I don't like him. But that's a whole different topic I'm not getting into tonight. Hey, Lugia. Arthur? Arthur who? Was that somebody on Steven Crowder's show? He played Brain in Arthur. Oh. Arthur the cartoon? That Arthur? You say Art. Demi, here's the thing. I am so old, and Patriot, you can back me up on this. I don't know if you are gonna remember this movie or not. When you say Arthur, I don't think of the cartoon. I think of the old Dudley Moore movie from the 80s where he's the millionaire playboy, that he's completely shit-faced drunk the entire movie. And he ends up falling in love with this woman that's broke, and so he's going to lose his family's inheritance if he doesn't marry the other rich person. So, oh, you see? Okay, you're talking about the cartoon. The one with the anteaters. Okay. Hey, John. No, that's why it's like, people are like, here's the thing. Even the most based influencers, the most, brilliant political minds, the ones who have organizations like the Daily Wire, who have massive platforms, every one of them is going to have bad takes on different days and stuff too. That's fine. What I can't stand is the people whose very existence online is to defend people regardless of their bad takes. It's like, look, if someone has a bad take, let them take the L on their own. You don't have to white knight for them. It just drives me crazy. Andrew Clavin and Ben Shapiro both say we shouldn't prosecute our politicians when they should be held to the highest standards. I mean, I agree, yeah, 100%. Crowder isn't that old, so that should clue you in. Yeah. I know. I'm just saying. I think of the movie Arthur. Here's the thing. I liked Steven Crowder. Then I heard a lot about what an ass he really is from a lot of people that had worked with him, a lot of people like the whole thing with his wife and stuff. And look, I admit the whole videotape that came out about his pregnant wife, it doesn't give you the full picture. It's not like he's beating the woman. He's just being verbally berating her. It's like, okay, so there's nuance to all these situations. I personally think Steven Crowder is probably a closeted gay person. I'm just going to throw that out there and say that. Based on everything I've seen, I think he's probably pretending to be straight. But that's a whole other topic. Ben Shapiro asking me to explain with facts and logics why I don't like him. Ben, you're... Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, Patriot, agreed. So since Equilibrium brought it up, I'm going to just go ahead and plug this, and let me see if I can actually do. I can put this in the chat. Let me get my Rumble link. For anybody who does use Rumble, I know that there is a big push, massive push among content creators like Hypnotic. I think he's did a Rumble only stream. I know some people are trying to make the switch to do only Rumble. I'm not doing that. I am not cutting off my nose to spite my face. That would be insane, right? Nick Fuentes is the king of closeted homosexuals, okay? Don't even get me started on Nick Fuentes. I don't even want to go there. Those are my two Rumble channels. If you guys use Rumble, you can follow me there. I am not switching to Rumble only. My primary is still YouTube. But again, it's good to have options. And you guys know I also stream on Twitch and Kick and all that too. But just because, I want to throw that out there because again, I know a lot of people are trying to make the push for Rumble. And I do want to see Rumble succeed. Oh, Hypnotics. Oh, that's right. So his strike came with a week-long suspension. Oh, shit. Dude, all that over a clip that was already on YouTube for years and years and years. That is insane. Matt Walsh calling all anime demonic is stupid. Agreed. No, South of Midnight is not a return to form. All right. So what's funny is from the gamer here, it says South of Midnight is a reminder of a games industry we're never getting back. The funny thing is, even the gamer you would think would be like, oh no, this game is great and it's just a bunch of racists who don't like it. This article here from Stacey Henley, man LARPing as a woman. says, playing South of Midnight, I had an okay time. The story had me, even if it sometimes wandered off the sole narrative thread the game sets up in order to bring in extra characters who are cut loose as quickly as they clamber aboard. Oh, so the story writing wasn't good, isn't it? That's interesting. They brought on SBI to do all like the writing and the narrative direction for the game, and it wasn't done well. Are we shocked? The mechanics were enjoyable to engage with, even if they didn't really evolve once they were introduced and quickly became repetitive. The whole thing looked nice, even if the stop-motion gimmick never went far enough to make it feel unique or purposeful. It was capital O, capital K, but it's the sort of game that would have been great 15 years ago, and that always stings. Oh my god. That's insane. All right, Demi, have a good night, dude. Yeah, Equilibrium, I am not gonna start trying to go like, oh, okay, guys, you know, I've managed to get my YouTube channel to where it is, stagnant or not, you know, and now we're just gonna say, let's abandon YouTube and just jump to Rumble. That would be insane. That would be absolutely idiotic. Let me see here. Yeah, the clip was about celebrating our differences, and apparently that's what got him suspended. Now, again, somebody pointed out, well, you know, these clips that have been on YouTube for 30 years, the AI systems are not trained to filter those ones out when it's doing it. Nope, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. The AI on YouTube or whatever automated systems are in place, if that clip is allowed to exist on YouTube, it's because it's already been ran through the system. It's only because somebody reported Hypnotic's channel for X, Y, or Z, hate speech, harassment, whatever, which is why the clip got snagged. The clip itself is fine. It's just because it got reported. That is absolutely insane. He was begging to be demonetized with that one, but the thing is, it exists on YouTube, though. Oh, no, see, Patriot, I don't... That's the thing is, I don't care what platform you guys use, you know? Eastern Canadians don't know what the South is like, especially diversity hires. Yet, Ryan, I always found it really interesting. And this was the funny part about... you remember Tales of Kenzara Zhao that Abubakar Salim came up with? Now, again, I think that the idea of the game is great. Side-scrolling game's cool. Metroidvania, awesome. Doing something with African folklore, if it can be done authentically, no problem with that. Personally, does it interest me? Not a whole lot. But whatever. The game should be allowed to exist, and it should be able to succeed if it's a good game. But he contracted Sweet Baby Inc., a studio based in Montreal, with a bunch of elitist Canadian women, to help him make a game about his father's ancestry in Africa, a place none of the people at Sweet Baby Inc. have ever been. It's just insane. This is exactly the same thing. Why do we have, Sweet Baby Inc. working on a game set in the American South? Nobody at Sweet Baby Inc. is from the South. It's retarded. It doesn't make any sense. Wait, Librium, do you not use the Rumble app? Because when I use the Rumble app, I always get 2 or 3 of those really awful ads. It's like AI voiceover telling you if you mix these liquids together, you can make your own blah, blah, blah. It's the worst. The ads on Rumble are awful. There's another issue with Rumble is that and I'm not talking about the money side of it. I'm not being like, oh, they don't pay me enough money. I got paid by Rumble one time. It was like $100 for a video that did really well. That was like a year and a half ago. But the ads on Rumble feel very scummy. It feels like, again, really just not... It just doesn't feel legitimate. Those ads make it feel like it's not a legitimate site, you know? Something funny about the Abubakar guy, when Nintendo price stuff started popping off, I saw a tweet about him saying this is why I fought to keep Zhao at $20. The funny thing was he actually lowered the price of Tales of Kenzara. Oh, interesting. So on PC. Oh, you're asking if he's on PC. Yeah, no, I use Brave for a lot of different stuff. It was a bad idea to have the name Tales, since there is the Tales series that's a JRPG series. Yeah, honestly, I think... And again, I might have been more harsh on the coverage of it due to the fact that he was connected to Sweet Baby Inc. and even made a company with Kim Belair and David Bedard of Sweet Baby Inc., so he had like a mobile narrative situation with them. But the fact of the matter was, you get into bed with Sweet Baby Inc., people are going to have a reason to criticize you. You know, it's like, just don't do the thing. Don't hire them. Don't do the thing. You can make your own moonshine, learn how to live off the land, like your ancestors, like and subscribe. It was so funny seeing him say that, like, brother, nobody changed pricing practices because of Zao one way or another. Yeah, no, 100%. Though it can feel like gaming has been stagnated as we see the biggest budget games chase photorealism with increasingly minor leaps each year, gaming has always continued to evolve. It has gotten better at telling more rounded stories with more complex... Oh, here's what we're saying. Gaming has gotten more diverse with its storytelling. It has the technology to offer far broader and more varied mechanics. It has the scope to offer depth to its edges. Let me ask you guys an honest question. Politics aside, transgender identity, non-binary people, furries, and everything else aside... Have characters gotten more complex than they ever were? This game wasn't bad, 6 or a 7? I think 6 or a 7 is fine. I just find it irritating that so often you have games that are putting representation ahead of gameplay, and then okay, I gotta find the tweet. Let me find this real quick for you guys. Hang on a second. Because there was the perfect Librium, you saw it, right? When I tweeted it yesterday, there was one of those reviewers, I think he goes by Cami or Kemi on Twitter, and he said, honestly, I'm disappointed with South of Midnight. The gameplay's not as good as I was hoping for. Basically, I wanted to play this game because of the representation, but it just wasn't. I'm like, dude, why is your brain the first thing you think, oh, it's got a black woman, I have to play it? No, if it has a great character, a character you like, character you can relate to, character that there's a good story told about them where you can empathize with the character and enjoy their story, that's great. Doesn't matter what their skin color or their gender is. But it's like, why do you care about the representation over the gameplay? It doesn't make any sense. Unknown, he has the demo out. We're going to look at it in a minute. Gameplay got a little repetitive, but the story and art style was nice. You know, Irish Knight, I think that two things can be true. The game might not be like trying to preach to you. The game might not have like a super woke messaging or anything like that, and that's fine. The problem is when representation is put ahead of actual good development, good storytelling, good gameplay. I mean, you might have had a good time with it, and like I said, that's great. You can enjoy the game. I have no problem with that. I do not care if people decide to support the game and enjoyed it. That's fine. But I look at it and go, even the reviews from most of the media outlets are saying the game's gameplay is just kind of repetitive and stale, that it's just kind of meh, it's mid. Again, South of Midnight is a 2015 game in 2025. Doesn't mean that it's a bad game. Let's be real about that a second. It doesn't mean the game itself sucks. I mean, I have played bad games, okay? I have played really bad games. I would much rather play South of Midnight than probably half the games I've streamed from indie developers, right? You didn't know Sweet Baby Ink was in it until you saw the credits? Unknown says, I saw the models. I would sooner play as a Black Slimer than that. Yeah, Unknown. It's a little hypocritical. Okay, it's a lot hypocritical. For somebody in his position to criticize games that look bad, that have bad-looking characters, especially games like Concord, Dustborn, games that have horrible-looking characters, and then to put that out after 7 years of funding and supposed development. No, the demo is bad. We're gonna look at that in a minute. Oh, so you used Game Pass? Okay, so okay, I'm a Game Pass user. I both love and hate Game Pass because I think Game Pass is a great value for customers, but it's also helping to destroy the video game industry as we know it. 80% of sales of games, premium sales, are lost if the game launches on Game Pass. Now, those are still digital sales, so it's not like Game Pass is the only reason we have digital instead of physical. Physical distribution is dying off. That has nothing to do with Game Pass necessarily, or let's not blame Game Pass specifically for physical distribution dying off. Steam has done far more damage to physical copies of games being sold than Game Pass, I would argue, or at least it's at least equivalent. However, Game Pass does play a hand in that because people aren't buying as many games when they can play it day one on Game Pass, you know? Yeah, I use Game Pass. Because here's the thing, I buy it third party, and it saves me a bunch of money. My kids can play a bunch of different games on it. I can play it on my PC, my kids' PC, and their Xbox. Yeah, well, here's the funny thing though. Honestly, I've actually been looking into it. I looked at my computer, so I brought up, let me Let me bring up my Xbox app. Let me show you guys something real quick, okay? I don't have a problem with you if you liked South of Midnight. I got beef with your mom because she should have yeeted fetus. Hey, Cinevere, how's it going? That's harsh. That's brutal, but that's pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. I currently have, can you guys see over here on the left? I currently have, now I own Minecraft. I have a copy of this that I was gifted a long time ago. Hell Let Loose is on Game Pass. Among Us is on Game Pass. I own a copy, I believe, through Steam. I have one game on Game Pass currently installed on my PC. One. That's insane, right? Like, I suddenly realized that in the last 2 or 3 months, even games that I've played on streams, just to kind of give you guys a glimpse of what the games I'm, you know, what we're talking about, games that are worth talking about, games that we're covering, and a lot of the stories in the videos. I have one freaking game that I don't own on Xbox from Game Pass currently installed on my computer, and I haven't played it in months. Okay, months. So I'm starting to realize, wait a second, Game Pass was a great value. It was a good deal. But other than like my kid's Apex Legends account or whatever, I currently don't have any games on Game Pass that I even care about, you know? Yo, bro, you gay passing. Seems there's not great games on Game Pass. Occasionally there are. So it's just like the whole idea of the Ubisoft Plus subscription or PS Plus. If you want to pay for it for a month or 3 months, and you know that there's a bunch of new releases that are coming out, like, okay, people are talking about this Atomfall game, right? Like it's a great game. Oh, Atomfall, you know, you should give it a try. It's like, you know, old school, you know, Fallout, or somebody else compared it to like Stalker, I guess. That's cool. You can try it out. That's great. And if you're not paying full price for Game Pass, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, it's like, there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of filler on Game Pass. There's some good games mixed in, but then there's just a lot of filler. And you go, maybe this isn't the great value. Yes, Remy, Doom is coming day one. So for things like that, 100%, we are going to be streaming Doom the day it launches because I have Game Pass, and there you go. It's not great. It's okay. Your opinion from observing it, not playing it. I watched Nure play it on her channel for about 15, 20 minutes, and it seems okay. Has some good classics on it, but you don't own those. Oh, but you own those anyways, like Oblivion and shit. Yeah, exactly. When Doom comes out, my bros are going to be gay passing that for sure. See, I'm not normally a Doom guy. I played the last 3 Doom games just because I could. And I didn't love any of them. I didn't hate them. I just wasn't really my thing. The new Doom game is right up my alley. I love swords, shields, ball and chain, mutilating things, decapitating things. For me, that's going to be fantastic. That's good. I love it. You have low opinion towards Grummz as a game dev and Ember as a game. Well, even if you had the greatest opinion of Grummz, can we be fair about one thing? Even if Grummz, if there was nothing weird in his past, if all of his money, whether or not it got made through the means that it was, or if it was completely donated towards his games like Firefall and you know, Ember and everything else, at the end of the day, the biggest issue I have is you could think Grummz is the greatest person on the planet, but you should objectively be able to look at this game situation in the demo and go, this is ass, what is going on, right? Okay, yeah, right tackle, exactly. Lies of P was on Game Pass. I downloaded it and never got around to playing it. But yeah, there are legitimately good games on Game Pass. The question is, once you've beat that good game, if you don't go back and play it, what are you paying for? You know, what are you paying for?
It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey man, I love you, this many dollars worth.
Game Pass is like the equivalent of Walmart. Mid.
Game Pass, Walmart edition. Hey, Lugia, thanks for the 2. No, you're not wrong. It's a mix. There's definitely a mix. Lies of P is the second best Souls game of all time. I'm gonna have to play that one at some point. Especially, they got DLC coming out for that, didn't they? Remy says, I tried Atomfall and it's okay. I did, Nure, I saw the drama with Endymion, and okay, you could say, I know if NS drops by, he's not a fan of Nure. He can't stand her psychotic, like, ranting and stuff. And again, she's very liberal, so she's less bothered by some of the wokeness than a lot of people, and that's okay. We can all agree to disagree, right? We can have differences of opinions. But Endymion made himself look like a complete ass the other day. Let me see if I can find the tweet real quick. I'm just gonna grab a browser and bring it over here and try to find this real quick. I don't know if you guys saw, but Kada over at New Blackstreet, Khalil Too Short, he goes by on Twitter, had this thing with Endymion because Kada got a shout out from Brett Cooper on her new YouTube channel. So Kada had covered the Assassin's Creed Shadow stuff. He got, covered in her video, which is pretty awesome. And then in the replies to her video, this is pretty cringe, Endymion had this to say. He's like, oh man, this sucks. You should have had me in this video instead. Something along those lines, right? Like, oh, I could have helped you out better or some crap. Rather than saying, here we go. Here's the tweet. All right. Brett Cooper says, do you want to play a video game where the protagonist is a black Japanese samurai who has gay love affairs with non-binary characters? If so, Assassin's Creed Shadows is for you. And then has shout out to Khalil Too Short for joining me to give me all the details. Okay? Endymion replied to this. Instead of saying, great job, Kada, he knows who Kada is. Kada is on Hypnotic's live streams, right? Endymion says, damn, I could have helped out this video, but oh well, still good. Okay. The only value he speaks provides his insider leaks, if the leaks are true. Same with every other anti-woke creeper reborn witness to. They never stop making videos on a single topic. Unknown, that is fair. I've done the same thing. It is a you had to unsub from Nuri. Hey, I can understand. I'm not saying that she bothers me necessarily or that I endorse everything she says, but here's the thing. I've got nuanced takes of my own. So for me personally, it's like, I know that not every content creator is for everybody, and that's okay. But this right here, this was just, I couldn't believe this when I read it. Yeah, he was jealous, Sally. It's really bad. Shadow somehow succeeded. Well, somehow succeeded, except we're still waiting for the actual sales numbers. But again, that's a whole nother point. Should have been me, exactly, Ryan. Calls Kada the other guy. Yeah, so he says, I'm not saying the other guy shouldn't have helped, only that I would have loved to help too is all. People are taking this weirdly. I'm like, dude, read the freaking room, man. This reeks of jealousy. And this is after his beef with Nuri, where he called Nuri a clout goblin. 24 hours after calling another content creator, whether you like her or not, is a whole different story. You don't have to like her. But this man called another YouTuber a clout goblin. And here he is in Brett Cooper's replies, basically saying, oh, you should have had me on here. It's absolutely retarded. I don't think the sales would have saved you. I mean, that's the thing. The sales were never going to save Ubisoft from the situation that they kind of put themselves in. Yeah, even Endymion can have L's. A big L that Endymion had was using a joke tweet from a random Embracer investor who said, I put the gay in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 as evidence. And he just ran with that shit. He's like, oh, see, we have this tweet from this random investor who joked him and said, I'm the one that put the gay in the game. And that brilliant guy, Corrosion, who thinks he knows everything about everything. I'm no longer communicating with Corrosion. He was a complete ass in the DMs. And I'm like, dude, I'm making dinner for my family. You want to come in here without hostility? You can go take a flying you-know-what off of a short pier, but whatever. And he's like, oh, I didn't think I was being aggressive. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Let's see, Nura's an astroturfer, Fox in the henhouse situation. Isn't that what content creators are? Embrace your clout. Yeah, two things can be true. And like I said, you don't have to like Nura. That's the thing. It's like, I understand that not everyone is going to agree with everything. Question for me in chat, what y'all's opinion on Mormons? Patriot, why are we talking about Mormons? Why are you dragging the holy underwear in here? Come on, man. I don't want to talk about anybody's holy underwear. Jimmy has put so much work in areas of both sides are extremist wanker. Well, okay, Hammond, I'm gonna play devil's advocate only because I have seen some of the extreme takes that people have that go beyond what's reasonable. There are extremists on both sides, sure. But I would still say, by and large, the quote-unquote extremists in the video game industry are all left-leaning. There's no question there. The video game industry is still captured by a left-leaning progressive audience of people, not audience, group of narrative designers, consultants, developers, executives. So while both sides might have extremes, only one of them is truly affecting the video game industry in a negative way. So I guess I'll be generous and say that. Yeah, exactly, John. Honestly, I don't know why his first thought wasn't to... He didn't even tag Kata in it. Didn't reply to Kata. Didn't say, hey, man, great job, buddy. Here's the thing. When I was on Moxie Dame's channel last year, Kata was at like 7,000 subs or maybe like that. And I was talking about the struggles of channels when they stagnate and how, you stop growing after a while. And it's just, it's brutal. You go from having a lot of success to where your channel just dies basically, or starts to backpedal. And Kato was all like, oh yeah, man, you've got like 5,000 more subs than me. I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter what numbers are. What matters is if you are putting out content people care about and resonate with, and if they feel like you're being genuine. Kato has stuck with it, and he's got over 10,000 subs in that was like 3 months ago we were having that conversation. He's gonna pass me very soon here, because of his own hard work and dedication and the way that he comes across in his videos. I like Kata a lot. Like, he's one of my favorite YouTubers now. So, again, this is the thing I think that Endymion is missing in the entire situation. Man's got like 300,000 subs. Why are you jealous because Kata, a guy with 10,000, got a shout out on Brett Cooper? It doesn't make any sense. You like to let your cat eat Spock? What is that? You can't share the reason for asking without possibly biasing the information y'all might provide. People like Neri claim the extremists on the right are just like the left. What exactly is the extremist right-wing politicians and everything we want in games? So Hammond, here's the thing. Let's back up a sec. There are a few people. If we're going to be like that, we're going to talk about those right now. Right now, in fact, this is actually a great segue. Okay. This is a fantastic segue, all right? Thinks highly of KCD2, then questions how Dragon Age got infected. She's part of the problem. I know that there's an argument to be made, but I don't feel like making it. Again, she's a big girl. She can defend herself on that one. Endymion doesn't get that statements don't end with a question mark. It's insufferable. Okay, so Equilibrium, I will say one thing about the whole Nure and Endymion thing. YouTube and unfortunately Twitter online interactions, a lot of it is, I'm not even going to say fake, because obviously two people having beef is real, but at the end of the day, it kind of benefits both parties, because people love drama. People love the beef. They love the gossip side of it. So it might be artificially created on her side or his side or whatever, because they both realize that by having outrage or whatever, or beef, it gets views, it gets clicks, right? You all are Hellfire God. You know that this is what this is, Marvel. Yeah, okay, so Black Cat, I was saying that in my video on my podcast channel, where I covered this, because the weird thing about Marvel Rivals is I don't know why they would actually go this route when I'm not a comic book guy. I am not a comic book guy. However, I do know that the whole Hellfire Gala thing is not popular in the comics. There was like a whole run, right? The whole series of the Hellfire Gala X-Men comics that nobody bought, nobody read, okay? Nobody cared. So why they would put this into the Marvel Rivals game when the game is doing exceptionally well doesn't make any sense. Let me pull this up here. Let me find this, okay? Marvel Rivals Steam charts. Here we go. Let's see how many people are currently playing Marvel Rivals. It's got 160,000 people playing it right now with an all-time peak of 644. Why would you go the Hellfire Gala route? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. You're now a Natalia simp. Be careful with that Natalia character. I don't know much about her either. And to be honest, a lot of people have been speculating that she's actually not any good herself. But again, I can't speak to that with any credible like evidence. I just know there's some weird shit people have said about her, that she seems to like fake engagement or not organic or whatever. I don't know. Again, I cannot get into that. Very happy to see the reactions to all the skins for girls like Emma Frost. It feels nice to see the freaks writhing and squirming. Right. Okay, after years of drag queen story hour, but here we go back to that pendulum swinging back the other direction with, again, if you want to use the term extremists, here you go. Melonie Mac puts Marvel Rivals on blast, says new Emma Frost costume is part of gay drag queen psyop. This is the other extreme, guys. Now, it's small. It's very small. It's a very, very small amount of people, okay? I don't understand. I unsubscribed from Fandom Pulse. I did everything I could to cancel Fandom Pulse. Why do I still get their paid articles? I should not be seeing this. This should be like behind a paywall. Imagine putting this. Okay. If John Trent would ever pull his head out of his rear end for 5 minutes and realize this is not an article you put behind a paywall. Nobody cares what Melonie Mac has to say about a character, a skin in Marvel Rivals. Why would you paywall that? Yeah, okay, so Hammond, to your credit, I don't think Endymion is an extremist because he seems to be more of like a moderate right-winger. He doesn't seem to be like one of these religious extremists, whether you want to call him a grifter or not genuine or what. I mean, that's a whole, again, people can have their opinions about whoever they want to. I don't see Endymion as an extremist, so I will say that that's, that's an unfair thing to say about Endymion. If it's Melonie, what would you expect? I mean, even Andy Pants called her out saying the left image is a chick. I don't follow Andy Pants, so I don't know. If people hang with John De La Rose and John Trent, I tend to not follow them, so I have no idea. Left wing by nature, right wing by circumstance, mainly about making money. Yeah, that describes a lot of people, though. That's like the real right-wing grift, right? Someone said Melonie just sees gays everywhere because her husband or boyfriend left her for a gay guy. You know that actually happened as far as I know. That is actually a real thing. Endymion is more of a used car salesman. I don't know, like, here's the thing, guys. I don't have any problem, like, again, if you like Endymion's videos, cool. I mean, I just like to call bullshit out where I say, look, I was in Endymion's replies a couple days ago because I'm like, why does everyone call you fat? I've seen pictures of him. He's got some chubby cheeks. He's not fat. He's like, I don't know. I've got weight to lose. But I'm like, I don't think you're fat, man. That doesn't mean I can't say he had a stupid take or had a retarded post in his video that he never should have used. You can disagree with people and not think that they're like Satan, you know? People have lost the art of being able to have a civil disagreement with people. Andy Pants is another drama miller. Well, he did get like 600,000 views or some crazy shit like that on his Master Chief as a black lesbian transsexual wheelchair character or whatever. I don't know. So clearly it's working for him. I don't know how many of Andy Pants's views are hate views or hate watches, but whatever. See, then you're calling Endymion a wokey. See, guys, here's the thing. Nobody is ever going to be able to agree on what the right amount of left-wing, right-wing, centrist, woke, not woke there is, you know? Anyone calling Endymion a grifter when we have people like John De La Rose around is sus? You are correct there. But the problem is that, and I'm not saying that this says, again, I'm not here attacking Endymion. I think Endymion's tweet was idiotic, but that's as far as I'll go about like criticizing him. But I do believe that Endymion still, to an extent, is trying to shield people like Grummz from criticism, which I don't like. I don't like anybody trying to like stand for anybody else and try to defend them. It's like if you want to criticize any content creator that I either like or don't like Smash JT. Look, I've already said before, I like Smash JT. I like him. He's screwed up a few times, and he's probably pissed off a lot of people along the way. And I am not going to sit here and defend the guy if you don't like him. You're entitled to your opinions about the guy, and I'm sure many of them are valid. So at the end of the day, most of these guys, Endymion, Smash JT, all these guys, they're big boys. They can defend themselves, you know? Hey, Mahindra. JD is closeted everything. You're not too far off there. His Twitter interactions are tone deaf, but his videos are hilarious. All right, so he puts a lot of work into his videos, I guess. Interesting. And see, now we got another one saying he's a massive grifter. This is the thing, guys. We can't always agree on everything. Every time he talks, it's like he's on drugs. No, that's like Fratanga. And it's funny because Fratanga has been attacking Sungrand Studio, but as much as I want to defend Sungrand Studio, he put out a couple videos that I'm like, you're defending Nintendo a little hard. Like, I tried to be very objective about the whole Nintendo price thing when I had Leon from Words of Paradise on. And Leon was much more pro-Nintendo than I was, I think, in our conversation. Like, I have a lot of criticisms of Nintendo's pricing of, like, their games and the cartridges and the keys. But Sungrand Studio, who I really like, really nice guy, was defending Nintendo really hard the last couple days. And so Fratanga made some videos about him criticizing him. Some very, very funny but tasteless memes. And it sucks to see, you know, him attack somebody that you like. But at the end of the day, Sungrand Studios has a huge audience. He's a nice guy. He's doing just fine. So he had a bad take. Whatever. Not everyone you disagree with is a grifter. 100%. Let's see. Asked him if it's being Canadian. He's like, no, I just say it when I don't know what gender they are. Oh, that's interesting. Well, Remy, the thing about the quartering is it's turned into, the Switch 2 is cheaper in Japan because they don't have to ship it. The thing about the quartering is it's turned into not just a business, but it's like, if he doesn't make 5 videos a day, he won't meet his bottom line. Which is just... Yeah, Cinevere, I love Sungrand. I think Jarrell's a cool dude. Very chill guy. Most of his videos always put me in a good state of mind. Because a lot of them have a lot of positivity to them. But he had a bad take. The amount of defending he was doing for Nintendo, way too much. Way too much. Alright, so, Melonie Mac puts Marvel Rivals on blast, says new Emma Frost costume is part of gay drag queen psyop. Written by John Trent of Fandom Pulse, paid behind the paywall. Why? I don't know. Video game and culture critic, Melonie Mac. Wait, isn't that giving her a little too much credit at this point? I just don't understand. Calling balls and strikes. Well, that's relevant because my kids play a lot of baseball. Any of the good accounts on our side can make a mistake and be criticized. They don't have to then be outcast as grifter. Guys, I have had my opinions change or had time to think about things and process things over the past 6 months where I might not agree with something I said 6 months ago because I've got new information and that changes. If somebody were to criticize me, I'd be like, you're 100% right. I had a bad take, you know, I had a bad opinion, I had a bad opinion. And then, you know, I've changed it since then. I have there's this guy, Vincent Martin. I see him in McDizzle's replies. I see him in, I don't think I've seen him in Airbag's replies. I don't know if he's like some crazy lefty or if he just hates anti-woke YouTubers. But Vincent Martin is himself a YouTuber, I think. He's taking clips of my videos from like a year ago where I talked about Grummz because I didn't have all the information at the time. It's where I'm like, everyone hates Grummz, but nobody cares that the mainstream media is just as dishonest or, has no ethics. Using that as some sort of own, like, oh, these guys don't care about... No, trust me. As I gained more knowledge, my opinion on people like Grummz has changed. That's just reality, right? Bada bing. Choose your content creator. Odds are pretty high. They'll have some skeletons in their closet. Wife beater, husband turned unfinished game, grifter, scam coins. Well, I post lame memes, which is, again, I think you've been here before. I love that name. I have my own skeletons, but none of them are like that. None of them pertain to like my online personality. No game development, no meme coins, no real life gay, former spouse who turned lesbian and left me, or I don't know. Oh no, I went to the hub and now all I think about is boners. Oh man, okay. That's gonna get clipped out of context. Anyways. I don't know how people take Sungrand seriously as anything other than total meme. His first couple videos I actually thought he was like Tyrone, the guy that reads messages for money. I liked Sungrand, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a case-by-case basis. He turned out to be a sexual predator, and that really sucked to find out. You know, Patriot, without doing the typical thing where all lefties are like, oh yeah, all Christians are all these repressed, you know, closeted, blah, blah, blah. It happens. It happens more often than not. Here's what I say about churches and people who are like, yeah, well, Christians are hypocrites, or people who go to church are hypocrites. Yeah, because it's full of humans. Humans, by nature, are hypocritical people. Therefore, anybody, if a church or any sort of organization of any kind attracts a large amount of people, that group of people is going to have a large percentage of hypocrites because human beings are hypocritical by nature. You know, you're always going to have a few bad ones in the bunch regardless of what it is, you know? Nobody listened to Millie Mac if she wasn't even remotely attractive. Try being ugly and saying that stuff. Hey, casual gaming on Rumble, you are not wrong. Equilibrium also says, can we go back to the drag queen? We're working on it. We're working our way there. All right. I had to stop when it said video game and culture critic, because honestly, I don't understand how anybody could take her seriously on any of her opinions. Did not hold anything back as she called out Chinese-owned NetEase and its latest character costume for Emma Frost and Marvel Rivals. So, did you guys see the costumes for this character? The worst thing you could criticize it for is the fact that it's white. Her original costume is white and blue, and there's two other characters that are blonde, blue eyes with a white and blue outfit.
When people use these buzzwords in an argument, all I hear is Brick from Anchorman saying, loud noises. Pointless yelling in a nutshell.
You're not wrong there. Thank you for the 5, Smix, and thank you for the gifted membership, dude. Very generous of you. Holy crap. I'm very anti-gay, but I'm also very gay, hypocrite, one might say. Yeah, no, you make a good point. Being a video game and culture critic is a really low bar. Well, okay, Zeta, that's a fantastic thing, right? You mean terrible people can't post YouTube videos? Right, exactly. My entire thought on the situation is it can be summed up by the comment I made on your post. Comment so good, I of course get the heart reaction from my favorite burger man. What did you say? On my post? Are we talking about on Twitter? Blonde and blue-eyed, time to make some babies. There's a few of them. There's like 3 blonde-haired, blue-eyed characters on Marvel Rivals now. Okay. She's not a video game critic, she's video game makeup. Video game and culture critic, blah, blah, blah. In a series of posts on X, Mac explained how the Chinese-owned company is pushing a gay drag queen psyop with the character's new X-Revolution costume that was originally a variant cover in Uncanny X-Men 2013. First, she wrote, the spicy stuff is turning men gay. People are all excited because Marvel created a drag queen with prosthetics. What I find funny is that she used, like... I don't even know, like, okay... Let's be fair for a second. If she didn't have like you know, yes, mommy, step on me kind of thighs, most people probably wouldn't care so much about this character. No, her face isn't like the best looking. Sure, it's not the prettiest character, but I also don't think she looks like a guy. That is insane, right? I don't see it. Oh, community tab. Hang on. Where's my phone? Ding, dang, dang it. Where is it? Stop replacing redheads? Yeah. Did YouTube censor it, or is it still there? Let me check and see. I'm just gonna use my phone to check, dude, because honestly, I am too tired to open a new tab. Oh, the one where you said, hey Siri, I'm losing relevance, how do I stay popular? Yes, 100%.
Do I need to be liked?
I've slept since then, man.
I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked. I have to be liked.
Hey, Cinevere, thanks for the gifted membership, appreciate that. Someone tell her fans she doesn't like them back. Yeah. She's criticizing Emma Frost. She's saying that Emma Frost is the byproduct of men who have watched too much adult content, and now they're being turned gay. She's having one of these they're turning the frogs gay moment, right? She's saying, yeah, I don't think it looks like a dude either. She's saying that the consumption of adult content, which again, here's the thing. I don't love how okay and obsessed with like pornography society is. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I don't love it, but at the same time, I also recognize that I don't think it's turning people gay. You can point to a number of other issues that it might cause. Okay, all sorts of things. You can point to a number of issues that it might be contributing to, but to say it's turning men gay and making them want to lust after drag queens, So a Chinese company making an X-Men game is going to try to make their female characters look like drag queens? I don't understand like this train of thought. It doesn't make any sense. We inject caffeine in our veins. I had a cup of coffee when I got home from my daughter's softball game because we did like a quick breakfast for dinner kind of thing, pancakes and eggs. And then I got into my new herbal tea, which is vanilla cinnamon chamomile with some honey. Okay. This has to not be a 4-head, but a 5-head take. Yeah. So, can we put a picture of a gay dude next to Mac? Okay, so this person, Prodigal Rebel, says, I honestly don't understand the hype surrounding this. Melonie Mac says, straight up, man, look next to Luna Snow. I don't get it.
It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey man, I love you.
Redheads, yep.
$dollars worth.
$2 out of you representing redheads with the hood.
Oh, dude, I drink a lot of tea. I didn't used to drink herbal tea, but yeah, Equilibrium, it's a psyop, dude. But I've taken to the last month or so, like in the evening after I stream, I have to do herbal tea because I'm like, I had so much caffeine in the course of my day. I got to do something to take the edge off and try to help me sleep at night. Is it grifting or is it pure retardation? I'm starting to wonder because here's the thing, a grift. Okay, let's talk about what the actual meaning of a grift is, right? And Patriot, thanks for the 2 again, buddy. A grift is when you say things you don't believe to have some sort of benefit by convincing people you believe something, lying, cheating, stealing, whatever. The grift is, I'm going to say something and I'm going to be rewarded for it, whether I believe that thing or not. I don't think she's grifting because it's destroying her own like presence online. I don't see it as a grift because if she truly believes it, well, if she didn't believe it, it's not helping her cause. It's not helping her YouTube sub numbers. I don't think it's helping her interactions online. Maybe the interactions, the Twitter monetization. I don't know. Most herbal teas do not have caffeine. It's both with her, Librium. You think so? See, I'm just now like dipping my toes into different herbal teas. And she loved Lara Croft, exactly. Well, they advertise it as caffeine-free, guys. If it has a little caffeine, if a little gay snuck in there next to the straight woman, whatever, it's okay. They believe what they say, but are 20% over the top on camera. Well, ironically, she's the Quartering's guest host or whatever for his live streams. When one individual tried to... This is the funniest thing. These are the kind of articles... when I was writing for Fandom Pulse... When I was doing an article, it was legitimate, like I am going to dig through, I'm going to type up my own thoughts, I'm going to put it as good of context as possible, try to be as objective, but give my own opinion, have tying in, you know, other articles and facts and this and that. When John Trent writes this article that's paywalled, it is simply copy and paste. This person said blah, 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 screenshot. This person says blah, 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 screenshot. This person says blah, 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 screenshot. This is like hard-hitting journalism. Claimed that this seemingly drag queen inspired... Okay, Fandom Pulse does some heavy lifting for Melonie Mac, right? And Razor Fist and everybody else. Sucks, I used to like Razor Fist. When one individual tried to claim that this seemingly drag queen inspired, who thinks it's drag queen inspired? Melonie Mac does, but John, the author of the article, is speaking it basically like he himself believes it. So now he is not just the author of the article, he's sharing his own agreement with the person he's covering. Not very objective, right? So annoying. Chamomile has no caffeine, only black or green.
Absolutely not. Do I need to be liked? Absolutely not.
Massive journalist slop.
Be liked? Absolutely not. I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked.
Joe Turbo, that's a great name. NS, thank you for the 5 gifted, my dude. Lugio with the 5 says, if we used her logic, wouldn't the Chinese company want more fans, not less? The Chinese company would not intentionally put a drag queen in there after making... Look, Marvel Rivals has put out a ton of really cool looking characters. Big, buff, masculine, macho guys, and very, very attractive feminine women. Why in God's name would they be like, let's be inspired by a drag queen? We need to have the drag queen character because representation. They wouldn't. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't care. I don't know. You were trying to write fast. Oh, NS, dude. I always have to be careful to not say what you were thinking or what I know that you were trying to say. So Mac responds, making men lust after a drag queen is all part of the psyop. Everyone knew MJ was ugly, for example, but porn is making men think Emma here actually looks female. They're falling right into the trap. It's a trap. Oh my god. Yeah, dude, I don't get it. Emma Frost looks great, right? I don't understand. Hey, Gulag. Simp, grift, gaslight, all terms are more annoying to me than the people accused of it. Yeah. The CCP knows promotes DEI and TikTok. Why would they promote Hellfire Gala then by your logic? So here's the thing. They don't promote it. This is a tough one. There's a lot to unpack there. Let me finish this article first, then we can talk about that. Hey, Mr. Hardcore Mode. Emma looks like Helga in Atlantis movies. Look her up. Cheekbones and all. Melonie Mac's words don't matter. She cut her hair and now looks like a Life is Strange PS3 game. Oh my god, that's incredible. They're turning the frogs gay! Yeah. Maybe she's right? What are we talking about? The whole PSYOP thing? Yeah, no, I post lame memes. When I saw her outfit also, I don't even know if I just spoke English there, guys. I don't know what I just said. When I saw the character in the outfit, there's no way that was the first thing I thought of was drag queen. They allow it, but they don't promote it, right? And again, what I would argue is Marvel Rivals, I don't know how many people play that game in China compared to the US. I would imagine with the amount of people playing it, there probably has a large audience across the board, across the world. That being said, they don't allow consumption of DEI type of shit in their own content, right? Which is why TikTok in China is different than TikTok in the US. So sure, they will happily promote it to the detriment of the United States and the Western world as a whole, while not allowing it in China, absolutely. But this game has never been like, oh yes, we need representation and we need gay characters and we need all this other stuff. It's a Marvel game, and they've done a very good job making their own interpretation of characters and the characters that look good. I don't understand how making men lust after drag queens is part of, look, you could say trying to, okay, let's talk about globalists for a second. The whole idea that they're trying to make everybody androgynous, sterile, eat the bugs, live in the pod, own nothing and be happy. That's fine. I'm down with believing that kind of conspiracy because it's not a conspiracy. It's probably true. Why would Chinese NetEase be like, yes, PSYOP is to make them lust after a drag queen? There's not even that many drag queens in the world. I don't understand why it would be drag queens rather than just gay men or androgynous characters. That doesn't even make any sense. It's a stupid argument. If Mac is blindly punching the gay in the games industry, she got a 95% chance of landing correctly. She's probably gotten used to making such accusations being correct later. I mean, maybe. That might be it. Well, Venom twerking in Rivals, I guess, was like an April Fool's thing. I don't know. I think it's retarded. People are like, why is everyone okay with Marvel Rivals having characters twerk, but they hate it in She-Hulk? I'm like, I hate it in both. I hate it equally. I think it's stupid either way. There's a lot more drag queens than since 2016. You're gonna make me go down that rabbit hole, aren't you? But Cinevere, I would argue that there's also a lot of people who have woken up to the idea, like I said, that there's a globalist majority or minority out there that's trying to sterilize people and make them less happy and less, you know, free will, to make them more dependent on daddy government and not have as many kids and everything else. So I would make the argument that in some aspect, I don't see a video game company saying, yes, drag queens is what we want everyone to start desiring, because nobody's desiring drag queens. I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't see that. See the Chinese version of character and see if there's a difference. I don't know if there is a difference, but that would be very interesting. But if we want to talk about the drag queens since 2016 increasing being a PSYOP, I could possibly see that. I don't think you guys are gonna make my head hurt tonight, aren't you? I can say Melonie Mac looks like a drag queen, just point fingers at anyone blindly at this point. Yes, Meg. I mean, it's a weird argument. Now, okay. let's get off of the Melonie Mac drag queen conversation, because this goes even deeper, and this just shows exactly how retarded some of this stuff is. She says they did this so easily and people are taking the bait so hard it's embarrassing. Step 1, make female characters ugly and completely covered. Rightful outrage ensues. Step 2, make post-op tranny characters in skimpy outfits. Bait taken, bunch of dudes gooning over a man. How many characters? Let's just look at Marvel Rivals as a whole, okay? How many characters up until her claiming that Emma Frost is a drag queen have looked like men dressed as women? How many? None. None of the characters in Marvel Rivals that I've seen look like a transgender person of either sex, of either gender. They don't. So she's making a big deal out of this one character. Okay, so you could say that this character doesn't look great. Fine. You can say she's got nice thighs, but her face could use some work. Fine. That's a fair argument. But to say that this one character, after all these other characters have come out, is the one that's going to slip in, they're going to sneak in the gay and make everyone gay with this one character, it's just, my brain is melting in real time here. As long as it's okay to say nobody desires drag queens and not have a knock at the door by someone from the government. They better have a warrant or they're not coming in. That's all I'm going to say. I am in a stand your ground castle doctrine state that is very anti-2A and yet allows me to have what I already have. And I've got lots of it. I brought up a couple extra ammo cases. I need to buy my shotgun shells finally. Do you think she's better than the rest of us? Yeah, to a degree, I would say that you're not wrong there. It's KCD2 all over again for Melonie. Well, I'm at the point now where I am willing to hear the argument about KCD2 and talk about, again, the reasons for the decisions they made and that they were legitimately bad decisions. And I'm okay with that. Like, still doesn't mean that or justify the things Fan and Pulse wrote about the game. But again, that's a whole nother topic. Sure, the feds and the ATF are going to care, huh? But hey, NS, I thought Donald Trump was talking about getting rid of the ATF, right? No, that's not going to happen. Dude, I don't feel bamboozled by Trump because he is still doing a lot of the things he said he was going to do. And no one man is going to fix the entire government. Our entire Congress is still a bunch of scumbags on both sides of the aisle. But I am disappointed in some of the decisions or things that haven't happened yet, you know? Casual Gaming on Rumble says it's likely just an engagement farm on her part. You're probably not wrong about that, if we're being fair. Not willing to play KCD2, and I really like one. That's, again, cool pick. You could talk to Patriot about that. Patriot is a fan of the series. He says, you know, the first game's a 10 out of 10 from what I played of it. I would 100% agree with that. It's from everything I played of I had like 30 hours of the first game, and I got like nowhere in the game. Fantastic game. I will say, based on the things I've heard, what we know about the game, and the reasons they did certain things, it's definitely a downgrade. And I don't blame anybody for not buying the game. Let me see here. In another post to a person questioning whether pornography can make people gay, she stated it absolutely turns men gay and into troons. Data shows it, and also the rampant rise of it does as well. Get a wife watching it is extremely gay. I want to know what data she's talking about. So, okay. She dresses like a malnourished Breaking Benjamin groupie. Wait, Mr. Hardcore mode. We're gonna have to have some words here. All right. So I've seen Breaking Benjamin like twice in concert. Okay, and they were like my favorite teenage rock band. That's a diss at her, not a diss at Breaking Benjamin, right? Because I will fight you on this one. They're like one of my favorite bands when I was a teenager. So that's just one of those things that we got to be. We got to make sure we're okay as far as that goes. I don't have to have words over some band, okay? Synthetic Man's KCD2 video is pretty spot on. I haven't watched it yet, Hammond. To be honest, there were a few people in that entire thing where it's like, okay, I can understand your argument. I can understand the difference of opinions, believing that there are certain things that are, you know, classified as woke, reasons they put things in the game, not liking the departure of the story, all these things, right? All those things. But there were a few YouTubers who just went really like beyond the pale on some of that stuff. Groupie, not a fan. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Groupie is not as good a fan. Hey, Rye Guy over on Rumble. Now I'm here. See, we're getting some people on Rumble now. Of course, they're just coming over from YouTube, but that's okay. You love Diary of Jane? All right, based. There we go. About corn? What did you say about the corn? Let me scroll up and see. You only watch lesbian. Oh my god. He goes off the deep end sometimes. Like I said, I've never watched his content. I just know from like the Andy Pantses of the world, there was some of that stuff that just went way off the deep end, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. People do this all the time, make an outrageous statement, and it either completely divides people or so over the top that baits people to reaction, rinse and repeat. That's fair also. All right, so here's where John Trent, formerly of, That Park Place and Bounding into Comics, full-time editor-in-chief over at Fandom Pulse, arbiter of truth and all things pure in the world, says, to Mac's point. Now, guys, before I talk about this, I want to make sure that you guys are zoned in here. Her point was drag queens are making, porn is making men attracted to drag queens, and drag queens are men, so clearly it makes men gay. All right. John says, to Mac's point, Rachel Ann Barr, the co-director of Georgetown University's Department of Psychology, found back in 2019 that compulsive consumption of this type of material finds that people that find themselves wanting and needing more of it, even though they don't necessarily like it. Okay. Fine. So people become addicted to it. That makes sense. She went on to note that researchers at the Max Planck Institute in Berlin, Germany, I wouldn't trust Germans, but okay, found that higher usage of it correlated with less brain activation in response to conventional imagery. Okay, sure. That's called overexposure therapy. That's been around forever. The more you're exposed to something, the more desensitized you are to it. That doesn't mean you're going to be gay, but okay. This explains why users tend to graduate to more extreme and unconventional forms of this material. Of course, analytics from the Big Hub reveal that conventional sex is decreasingly interesting to users and is being replaced by themes like violence and the stepmoms, right? Okay, sure. It eventually graduates to a new level because you can't be satisfied with what you were currently watching. This is all basic psychology. Barr also notes that there are a number of other negatives when it comes to people who watch it. Consumers report greater depressive symptoms. Well, people that are watching it, maybe they're already more depressed to begin with, lonely, who knows. Lower quality of life and poorer mental health compared to those who don't watch it. Okay, fine. None of these stats are anything I would argue with. She also states that the use of it has been correlated with erosion of the prefrontal cortex, the region of the brain that houses executive functions like morality, willpower, and impulse control. Damage to the prefrontal frontal cortex in adulthood is termed hypofrontality, which predisposes an individual to behave compulsively and make poor decisions. She concludes with, it's somewhat paradoxical that adult entertainment may revert our brain wiring to a more juvenile state. The much greater irony is that while it promises to satisfy and provide gratification, it delivers the opposite. How in God's name does any of that prove her original point that she stated on Twitter? So that's where I want to know. He wrote all of that, which most of it I can understand, and I agree with the argument, and I could see the merit of it. How does any of that strike, like correlate with what she said? You know? I don't understand. Too much doctor lingual. But the thing is, the doctor argument, like the impacts of it, all the things that can come from overexposure. Look, it's just like people who become obese. Overexposure obviously is going to lead to being dissatisfied with things and lead to addiction and all that. They push T. I don't even want to know what that first term means. Exactly how is this to be related to a tweet? I don't understand. I don't get it, Lucia. I have no idea. But again, it's his argument that this doctor, mumbo jumbo, if you will, somehow proves her point when it has nothing to do with her point at all. Unless his point is that a man becoming attracted to a drag queen is more extreme than like extreme violence, I don't understand that. I don't quite get it. Melonie is making a simple as argument is not defeatable with logic and research. You're probably not wrong there. I played Immortal Rising. That game turned me gay while I was playing it. Dude, I could see that. Oh no, Patriot, I don't disagree with you there to a large extent. My point is, his research that he quoted has nothing to do with what she said. At least not in a clear-cut fashion. You can make an argument that they're loosely correlated, but it's simply him trying to back up her argument, which I think is absolutely retarded, like at face value. X-Hub got you blocked. Whoa, we're talking about trying to say words in the chat that are getting eaten by YouTube. Yeah, unfortunately, YouTube hates pretty much 90% of the words that you might say. It just is what it is. Which I had to buy Nitro, and that would 2000% get you banned everywhere. Oh my god. Well, I'm not going to play it on here then, dude. Let me take a peek real quick. Hang on. Okay, well, we're going to move on from Melonie Mac again because reasons. Oh god, I'm waiting for it to load. Oh my god, that is fantastic. That is beautiful. Okay, NS, that one, I'm saving that one. That is fantastic. Cleanse the gay away with holy fire. Like, look, I can understand the argument that overexposure to things can lead to you wanting more and more depraved stuff. Sure, I get it. I get that point. I just don't understand how her argument is backed up by his scientific research that he quotes when she says this character who's clearly a female is a drag queen because they want you to be gay for drag queens. I don't see it. I don't see the connection there. It seems like such a freaking stretch. It's not even funny. All right, let's move on. Let me reset my camera before it shuts off again. It was very nice of Leon on Wednesday to tell me that my camera was about to shut off, even though I still didn't catch it in time. Grummz put out a demo of his game on April 2nd, I believe it came out. That being said, the demo is basically a rework of the existing alpha build, I believe, that came out a while back. Yeah, she's making a correlation implying causation. And John Trent is providing the scientific mumbo-jumbo. You switched quickly to Rise, Son of Rome, peak chud game to wash off the gay stuff. Yeah, there you go. I actually looked at picking up Rise of Rome, or Son of Rome, a long time ago. Like, it was like $5 or $10 used on my Xbox. I never picked it up. Doesn't matter if the argument made any sense. We're all Coomers and Gooners in her mind. Yeah, apparently I am too, even if I'm not playing like the Gooner games. So it is what it is. So here's a really interesting thing I saw. Before we play the demo, in all this conversation about moving to Rumble, ironically, guys, with people like Hypnotic getting copyright strikes on YouTube for absolutely asinine reasons, Grummz put out this tweet. It says, "I'm very happy to announce our partner in Rumble Video. Thanks to Chris Pavlovsky, the CEO of Rumble, and his amazing Game Cloud team in expanding some features and helping us with the transition. We are now free of Amazon and results have been great." Can any of you guys tell me what this is actually about? Because I don't know if he had a website that was being hosted on Amazon Web Services, if he's talking about like the actual, it wouldn't be the development of the game, obviously, because Rumble is just like video host. Has anybody seen this? Because I can't quite make heads or tails of what this is entailing. Like, what does he mean we've moved to Rumble? Not quite sure what is going on there. Can't view a nice set of jugs without whipping out the old meat stick. Well, to be fair, depends on how nice. No. Oh my god. Oh, where is that? Where is that sound effect? There we go. Anyways. So now moving on to the demo. This comes after the demo was released, and people put the demo, I don't know if this is from backers who recorded it and then put it on YouTube, or what the situation is. What's the Grummz game about? It is the spiritual successor, I believe he called it, of that game Firefall, which, correct me if I'm wrong, never actually released. But Mr. Hardcore Mode, it's like Mecha Break, but like 20 years ago. Who's to say what's dangling? Not. Okay, I can't really bend because my back hurts, but I have pants on. You can see them right there. Teenage Murder in Texas? Maybe on the podcast channel tomorrow. I might take some time to record a video on that. Because that's been an interesting, like, weird situation, right? Rumble provides an IaaS offering. I don't even know what the hell that means. Must get definitive facts when dealing with Grummz because he's a pure liar. Is Rumble gonna fix your game, Grummz? I don't think they're going to. So like I said, I don't know what they're doing really. Rise was rather fun. I should still pick it up. Rumble has its own servers to host. Oh, for the game. Okay. So he's saying he's going to put his game's servers through Rumble? Truth Social's hosted there? Oh, interesting. IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Oh, infrastructure as a service. Okay, that makes sense. A backbone for the other services. See, this is why you guys are all here, is because you're all smarter than me. You're helping my poor crippled brain here. All right, so in case you guys have not seen, let me go full screen so you guys can actually see. Sorry about the pop-ups. I can't figure out the timing on these pop-ups, unfortunately. It just is what it is. Just it'll go away in a second. Here is the actual, like, 5 minutes of gameplay. Let me turn it up a little bit. Not that there's really much to see or hear. Yeah, NS, I was saying that, but I almost feel like she truly believes what she's saying. Well, I use Brave on my phone. Rise is like $3 or $5 on Steam sale. I should check it out. I need more games that I don't play. It's like, you know, trophies. You don't care about female influencers, don't know her much, but from what I've seen of her, I'd say that's a fair conclusion. I don't care about the impact or influence of influencers as a whole, because I don't think anybody should have a significant amount of influence over anybody else just because they make videos and speak into a camera, you know? She's a girl on the internet who dresses 20 years younger than she is. Hey now! Watch it. I still wear t-shirts and jeans like when I did when I was a teenager. I'm not just because I'm close to 40 doesn't mean I'm graduating to, like, you know, old man Dockers and stuff yet. But Dave, that's when she had her come to Jesus moment. And here's the I'm not here to judge the authenticity of anybody's religious convergence. All I'm saying is that's the story. Oh, Firefall was live for 4 years. Okay. I didn't know that the game ever actually went live. NS, this is the game that Grummz crowdfunded $600,000 for. That, let me show you something, okay? Let me show you something. This game, I don't know if there's the underwater part where he actually walks underwater. This is the exact same thing as the alpha build, it seems like, from what I've seen videos of, that has been in existence for a long time now, to where even when, like, they traveled or walked through the water, instead of having any water effects at all, it was literally like you're walking through an invisible wall, and then all of a sudden you're underwater, and it's just like nothing's changed, right? So all they seem to have replaced was a few different, like, fill-in objects, and this now is the nighttime mode instead of the daytime mode, which is all they have, basically, you know? This is really rough. Now, guys, we talked about this on the live stream on Monday. The timeline of that video expose on Grummz that came out, back in 2017, they were supposed to have this demo done. They were saying the goal, the timeline is to have the demo released and then have the game out a few months later. Here we are 8 years later. 8 years later, and we still just have a demo now, finally. It's like the anti-DEI version of the DEI game. I don't care if the projects don't work out. Buyer beware is an understatement. Oh, that's very true. Rather go with Star Citizen. You're not wrong there. No, see, I would say repeal the 19th, except I don't think it would do any good at this point. Firefall was actually good in beta. You had Lazy Peon videos covering it. Those videos are 10 plus years old. Back in 2017, the game had 100,000 in backing. The additional 400K is from 2019 to 2021. Okay, but even then, at the time, Librium, that's still, since 2021, that's 4 years. And I know there's been health issues and other setbacks that he's talked about, but this is just not even excusable, honestly. Look up the crowdfunded Little Devil Inside game that's over 10 years overdue. People are still waiting for it. That sounds like Comicsgate. That sounds like when there's games that are just sitting there, comics that are just sitting there not getting made, right? Silk Song was in the same boat as Grummz until last Tuesday. Hey, Hook, how are you doing, buddy? In fact, Grummz still won't come clean about the Firefall bus, is why I don't trust his ass with anything. Well, for me personally, I just think that there are so many more relevant things than... Not that the Firefall thing isn't relevant, because that's where I think the most important aspect of this entire situation comes into play. What money was being spent on what during the development of what? Like, what are we even seeing on the screen here? What is this? I just can't make heads or tails of this. It doesn't make any sense. This is obviously his mech right here, right? This alien kind of looks like a bird dinosaur thing with the spear just kind of twirling around. I don't understand this. The only thing they can get him on is the tax thing. Potentially, yeah. Although, isn't there somebody was talking about state of California has a lot of stuff with like failure to deliver on crowdfunding of some sort. I don't know. Looks like Transformers meets No Man's Sky. It just looks like crap. It's like when you play a demo of a game, it's especially like any game on Steam that you know is in early access, and then you play a demo, you go, okay. You know, it's a demo, it's early access, so clearly there's going to be improvements. But this is just the alpha build with a few replacement, you know, objects and stuff, and not a whole lot else there. Angel Studios needs to build a game crowdfunding service like their movies require 80% complete before any money. That's actually not a bad idea. 10 FPS is crazy, yeah. It's just bad. I don't see how it's excusable. I just don't get it. And again, Mr. Hardcore, obviously, you know, like Equilibrium said, they didn't have the full 600K until upwards of 2021. Okay, fine. But then that's an additional 4 years. I cannot imagine sleeping at night knowing somebody gave me, not somebody, a lot of people gave you like a $600,000 pot to fund your game and then not delivering it for 4 years after that. Yeah. Well, and Remy, it's not just 8 years for a tech demo. It's 8 years for a bad tech demo. It's 8 years for something that nobody, if you showed this to the backers back then and said, okay, we're going to do this, we need $600,000 in funding. Here's what we want to build. At that point, if you donated to that thing, it's like buying a meme coin. That'd be like the Hawk Tuah coin. You're better off just flushing your money down the toilet. We are old. Youth doesn't last long enough. Hey now, I'm old, but it's because of my back. If my back wasn't messed up, I would feel half the age that I am. Let me see here. This looks worse than Black Desert. Isn't Black Desert good, though? I thought that game is actually good. Katawa Shoujo Disable Visual Novel game looks better than Grummz game. I haven't seen that one. Why are we plus 10 years and negative 15 years graphics and story? I don't know. That we were talking about that with South of Midnight, that it's like a 2015 game in 2025. Doesn't make any sense, right? Anyways, let's move on to, we can do a quick aside. I just wanted to go over a couple more things real quick here. Snow White, not that anybody here cares, earned $1.5 million on Friday, setting it up to not even hit $100 million over its first weekend, right? Or is it? No, it's second weekend. I think this is the sophomore weekend. It came out a couple weeks ago. And yet, have you guys seen this shit? Like, have you actually... Let me go back to the better looking screen here. Hang on a second. You gotta respect FaZe Banks at least when he defended that hawk to a girl. He outright came out and said he did try to smash her. Oh my god. Ian Miles Chong would like you to help fund his independent news outlet. Should only take about $500,000 in a few years. No takesy backsies. Oh my god. Yeah. At that point, you deserve anything that happens. But here's what I really want to talk about is this one right here, because this is crazy. This is legitimately insane, right? All right. So I hate Jack Black. I can't stand Jack Black. I loathe and despise Jack Black. He's been good in some things, but oh my god, oversaturation, right? You want to talk about overexposure therapy? I have seen more Jack Black in the last 5 years on TV, on the internet, than I could have ever wanted to see in my entire life. I want to see nothing of Jack Black. I don't want to see another thing Jack Black is in for the rest of my life. I liked the Super Mario movie. Jack Black was good as Bowser. But I'm mad at myself for saying that because I'm so sick and tired of Jack Black. But this right here, the Minecraft movie, which looks terrible, has made, in its opening, $135 million plus this weekend. This movie's gonna make bank thanks to TikTok? Yeah, 100%. And he always plays himself. Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I liked School of Rock. I thought Shallow Hal was kind of a funny movie back in the day. But honest to God, I'm so sick and tired of this dude, and I cannot understand how this movie is going to make any money. I just don't get it. We are the same people. Oh my God, dude. Jack Black looks like a fat hobo. You're not wrong there. Oh my God. Okay. After Friday late night update, Warner's, just like you started a sensation with Barbie, you've done it again with a Minecraft movie. We're getting reports of auditoriums full of middle schoolers hooting, hollering, and shouting out meme lines from the game. Kids are jumping on top of seats and dancing the aisles when Jack Black breaks out in song. Minecraft movie mania is real, and ticket sales keep building up like bricks, and now at 58 million for Friday, including last night's 10.5 million, with an opening weekend now headed for $135 million. I don't get it. How is this possible? You missed the mark recently. I called 90 million for Minecraft and 175 for Snow Brown. You missed in both directions. Hook, honestly, I have no idea like how this movie did so well. Cope and Seeth, Snow White, you don't have to make a good movie to make bank. Yeah, it's funny. You would think that they would need to, but apparently not. McDonald's is just pushing hard with the partnership. Is McDonald's pushing like, oh yeah, they have the toys and stuff, right? I'm sick of so many actors just playing themselves these days. Hey, can we be objective? Can we not let it be like political or right wing, left wing, and just say, look, even Chris Pratt, nice as a guy as he is kind of like the apolitical or maybe centrist right wing Jack Black. Chris Pratt is in everything, and I like Chris Pratt, but it's like, holy crap, dude, you cannot play yourself in every single movie you're in. Like, it's gotten really old. Minecraft is bigger than anyone thinks. My chat is filled with Minecraft brain rot kids. Oh my God. That's terrible. They don't care about controversy. But Gene, I don't think it's controversy. Like, this movie wasn't like one of these things where it's like, oh, there's a black woman in it, it's woke, or it's got, you know, Jack Black, it's woke. Or I don't think it was that. It was just, it just looked like nightmare fuel, you know? I thought only Zoomers would go see it and shit on it. I forgot Gen Alpha is post-cringe. I didn't take my kids to go see it. My oldest son, he's 12. He didn't want to see it. We have some friends that they have some kids around our kids' age, and they're like, oh, we should go with you guys to see the Minecraft movie. And I'm over here like, I'm not going to go see it. I don't want to go see it. If you guys are going to go see it, you got to do that when I'm at work, because I will not set foot in a theater to watch the Minecraft movie. It's not happening. Chris Pratt, Star-Lord. I mean, Chris Pratt is himself, and he's Andy Dwyer in every role that he's in. Well, he's less stupid than Andy. Andy Dwyer was a great character. Don't get me wrong. Oh, you mean the Jack Black factor? Yeah, for real. Unfortunately, I think the vast majority of people, for whatever reason, like Jack Black, and I don't see it. I don't get it. They hate seeing the same actors over and over again. That's their main thing. They want to see randos before stars. Hollywood will learn slow. Dude, same thing goes for the entire situation with the whole Legend of Zelda live action. They need, if they're, I hate the fact that they're doing a live action Legend of Zelda, but if they're gonna do that, it needs to be people that nobody knows. They need to be not even up and coming actors. Find some random people who look like the characters and can act, rather than trying to cast already known and recognizable actors as Link and Zelda. That's gonna be a disaster if they do that. I have seen all of the Sonic movies, Lucia. I think they're good. I don't hate them. They have a lot of good parts to them. I'm not a huge Sonic fan. That's one area where Leon and I disagreed on Wednesday, is I'm just not a big Sonic guy. But I think the movies were fine. I think they were enjoyable. I don't think they were anything special, but they were good. The ads literally tell you to turn your brain off for the Minecraft movie. I've seen clips. I haven't even bothered like watching a whole trailer. Liam Neeson will be Link. Liam Neeson replacing what's his face for those Naked Gun movies. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. 100% better than otherwise if they only cast Japanese actors. That would be sick. Oh, dude, that would actually work. Mahendra, you want to talk about the Netflix Devil May Cry show? What? You want to talk about Devil May Cry, the thing that I've got right here? It's like you're reading my mind, man. Yeah, so I don't know how Minecraft did so well, but whatever. It is what it is. It's gonna make money. No, NS, I saw the Sonic movies because my kids like them. That's why. I don't think I saw the first one or two in theaters, but we went and saw the third one in theaters. Dude, I thought the dance scene with Jim Carrey, I'm a Jim Carrey fan for the most part. I mean, most of his movies I've seen I've liked. Netflix made Dante weak and Lady, aka Mary, female emotionless girl boss. I don't know enough about the characters from Devil May Cry. Again, not a series I ever got into. And I can't play all the audio because of the fact that it's gonna have copyrighted music and stuff. But we can talk about this real quick before we're all done. Ain't Yonder Dev and Grummz kind of similar? From what I've heard, Nightcore, I think it's kind of the same situation. Leslie Nielsen, thank you. I couldn't think of his name. You might want to think of, or catch the name of the actor you said above. Oh God, what did you say? What did you say now, man? Lugia. Dan has seen Sonic movies because he's a consumer. I watch Sonic movies because I like to pronounce Sonic in a certain funny way. What are you I don't... In terms of morality and beliefs, there's only one base dude who's kicked from Hollywood. His name's Neil McDonough. I'll have to check that out. It did so well because people keep paying for entertainment regardless of quality. When you don't demand standards, you'll get the lowest you tolerate. Should play Devil May Cry 3. I'll add it to my list of games I need to play. My biggest issue with Devil May Cry was I always assumed, based on the fact that I never played any of the first couple games, that if I picked up on the series later on, I wouldn't actually, understand what was going on in the story of the games. So I just never got around to it. But stylistically, and as far as the combat goes, the games look great. I've always thought the games looked really good. I always liked the idea, but good breeding. Oh, there you guys go, talking about genetics again. You'll never see Netflix DMC as canon? Okay, so I remember seeing this clip back on March 20th, so a couple weeks ago. And heading to bed. All right, Rye Guy, have a good night, dude. And I think we can probably play this. Shouldn't have too many problems.
Of fortune, stealing common stones for a mere 2.5 million. When there's something right in front of you that is beyond earthly value.
Wait, how do you know the price we were offering?
So basically this scene, the guy in the bunny suit, I guess, is the demon. And the entire controversy around this was that they portrayed the demon in this as essentially like the empathetic or sympathetic character. I don't know. I don't know enough about Devil May Cry or the character himself to understand what's really going on. But basically, the impression people got online was that this, he says, then again, hell as you call it, has always been the true heart of human religion. Okay? That's where they're going with this. You can curb the worst of your savageries, and only through collective fear and hatred of another world. So basically, his world is hell, and he's mad at humanity for basically saying it's bad and hating it, right? This is where we are. 3 is the starting point. Okay, since it's a prequel, interesting. 30 hours into Dredge. I've seen Dredge. I need to put that on my list. Dude, NS, I've seen comparisons to Devil May Cry and Rings of Power where they try to humanize the demons and make you feel sorry for them. Absolutely retarded. Playing Shadow Tactics, a better Shadow game. Hey, Tekla. Not this scene. Yeah, that's one of them. And so then you get this one that's coming out. Let me see if I got the full clip here. You see Kaguya's top gal says in the Netflix Devil May Cry show, America invades hell like it's a Middle East country. Demons are actually refugees of the wars caused by Whitey. Let me see if I've got the full clip. Hang on a second. Someone uploaded the entire thing. No, it's not there. Weird, I thought that the whole video was here. Well, we'll just play this snippet of it, I guess. Green Day. I hate Green Day. Green Day is one of the only punk bands that I truly hate. Can't stand their music. I hate their everything about them. But yeah, this is once again them trying to humanize the bad guys, kind of like we saw with Rings of Power. DMC lore of demons never say they're good people. Most of demons are evil. Oh, this is the final scene? Okay. Yeah. Isaiah 5:20, the evil call is evil. Well, yeah, there you go. There's something to that. Good people equal refugees. Yeah. Mean Bastard said these demons are going to be the worst refugees. Oh my god, that's a spicy meme. Wow. They're telling the truth, don't stop them. Hey now. Hey now. Onimusha over DMC, story not gameplay. Imagine taking a concept as awesome sounding as America invading hell and making it cringe as F. Only Ada, or Adi. I think it's Adi, what's his face? Where was the original post as? Is this guy back here? Yeah, okay. So Adi Shankar replied to this post, this clip that I'd shown originally, saying, feels like a bad faith take. My show isn't saying religion bad. And then he got community noted. This guy here says, you wrote the text. The text is clear. It's not our fault. We see it for what it is. Do better. The discussion is over. All right. Then you have this scene here, and I don't know if I can play it with the audio without having issues with copyright. That's where we're just going to keep the audio low.
We risked everything to hide you. Now you turn your gun on us, on our kids? We want nothing from you. Just leave, please.
Your friend slaughtered my team.
You think we're with them?
She's a sapien. Of course she thinks all demons are the same. If you're not with the White Rabbit's gang...
Yeah, again, humanizing demons. This is like Rings of Power all over again. And the funny thing that's worth noting, I love Castlevania. Never watched the anime. I was really excited to get around to finally watching the anime. And then I saw all the shit that came out about it where the same person, Adi Shankar, did the Castlevania Netflix show that is complete garbage, basically making all the priests, all the Christians, all the bad guys, trying to, you know, once again, have you empathize with the villain. It's insane. You think all demons are the same? No, we think all demons are evil, not the same. There you go. Exactly. Audie Murphy over... Oh, dude, Audie freaking Murphy. Hell yeah. 100%. Demons are mostly evil? No. I mean, in Devil May Cry, maybe they are mostly evil. By definition, if you're going to have a demon in something, it's evil. So this post here says, wait, what? So Netflix DMC isn't the bootleg universe take? And this is from, don't know what the date is on here, but it says, this is from Adi Shankar, the showrunner. It says, I operate under two distinct creative banners. Bootleg universe, where I remix, reinterpret, and intentionally take bold liberties and subvert existing IPs. The Adi Shankar animation, where I play things straight, honoring the source material's core essence. Captain Laserhawk was developed under Bootleg Universe. The entire series was designed as a pastiche, a commentary on the toy commercials and pop culture saturation I grew up with. Every character reinterpretation, including Pagan Min, was deliberate and served that remix ethos. By contrast, Devil May Cry falls under Adi Shankar animation, where fidelity to the original spirit of the IP guides every creative decision. Different brands, different missions, both intentional. So he's saying, as I understand it, that Devil May Cry was done, you know, to be authentic, to be actually, you know, true to source material or whatnot. And again, I can't speak to it because I've never watched it or played Devil May Cry. But unfortunately, it seems to a lot of people that he's taken a lot of liberties with it, right? Subversion's demonic, isn't it? Pretty much. Let me see here. Netflix DMC has nice demons, entire families of them just trying to survive because, of course, there had to be. We can't just let demons be demons. Somebody had a post with, again, Rings of Power orcs on one side and the demons from this show on the other. It says, they can't survive in the demon realm, that's why they come to the human world. The demons are refugees. I mean, think about this. Maybe this is one of those situations where they don't realize how based they're being, you know? Demons in Devil May Cry are monsters? Yeah, well, apparently not here. Apparently they're just poor brown folk immigrants that can't stay where they are because it's not safe or habitable. And then, of course, us Americans come and muck it up. Now, again, there's a lot of truth to shit that America has done over the last couple hundred years. I have no qualms about that. You can criticize America for a lot of the stupid things we've done, a lot of terrible things we've done. But when you're talking about fiction that has nothing to do with like early 2000s George W. Bush post 9/11 bullcrap, to instantly be like, oh yes, we started a war with hell and now you have all these poor demon immigrants that don't have anywhere to go. This is just pathetic. Yeah, this reminds me of D&D not wanting orcs anymore because they think they're too much like black people. Exactly. It seems reminiscent from what I heard of the Has-Been Hotel, right? And it's, again, the same showrunner as Castlevania. They're just coming here to work and support their families. They want to clean your toilet and cook your food. And don't forget, they want to pick your fruit as well. They want to go work your fields for you. Telling you it's actual propaganda. Look for adolescence and how the UK Prime Minister is saying it's true. Oh, yeah. Carl Benjamin, I was listening to a video of him talking about the whole adolescence thing. It's absolutely crazy. Who's the show for? Not for actual DMC fans, just more anime consumer fans. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, leave the poor demons alone, 100%, right? Even the Devil May Cry anime from 2007, they always attack humans like Pat. I mean, yeah, it's just, again, I don't understand, and this is something I've noticed over the years, and it's because Disney's evil. We can joke about it or say it like tongue-in-cheek, but Disney's an evil company, right? At least in its current form it is. Disney has done this thing over the last, God, I feel like 15-ish years, especially with like their princess movies, where they no longer have villains in these movies, right? They don't want villains. They want the villains to be ambiguous. They want the girl or the hero of the movie to figure it out and save themselves. No more being rescued by like a strong, you know, warrior type hero. And there's like no clear-cut good and evil. In movies like Moana, movies like Frozen, these movies don't have a clear-cut villain. Now, the first Frozen movie does, the guy that's trying to kill Anna, her sister, right? But there's no big baddie. It's just a stupid, you know, wannabe like prince or whatever. In Moana, there's no evil. They think it's evil, but it turns out it's because, you know, Maui screwed up and took the heart of Tafiti, and Tafiti's actually the one that's the big fire monster. So there's no bad guy in that one. It seems like we're getting to this trend where, and we've seen this with what they've tried to do with like Ursula for Disney Plus, where they try to make her like a sweet, sympathetic auntie kind of character. They don't want villains anymore. They want the villains to be sympathetic characters. They want you to empathize with the villains, with the bad guys. It's demented. Like, if we want to talk about it being demonic, I mean, I think there's an argument for that, right? Problem is, a lot of people's 401k is tied to Disney. Yeah. It's like, I remember one of my favorite Disney cartoons is freaking Hunchback of Notre Dame. Has one of the most despicable villains, one of the most clear-cut stories about good and evil, and the Hunchback, you know, is the hero, and, you know, whatever the guy in the funny hat is the villain, right? And he dies a terrible death, plunging to his death from the top of the cathedral. That's the kind of shit I want to see, or that's the kind of stuff I want to see for my kids. Clear-cut story about what's good and what's evil. All right, casual gaming. I gotta hit the haze tune too soon here. Maybe Maui was the bad guy this whole time. Dude, my kids were watching Moana 2 the other day because they hadn't seen it yet, and it's popped on Disney Plus, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, they were like, oh, this is so bad. I'm like, well, you guys are the ones watching it. You chose to put it on. Oh, dude, Hunchback of Notre Dame is my all-time favorite animated film. That one, Beauty and the Beast is great. It's like in my number 3. If we're talking classic Disney, Beauty and the Beast is up there. But Hunchback of Notre Dame, Sleeping Beauty, definitely up there. I get that Snow White's a classic and a lot of people love Snow White, but for me personally, I like Sleeping Beauty. That one's better. The priest guy or whatever he is was the goated bad guy. Yeah, Frollo, I think his name was. Moana was cool. Maui tried to lock her in a cave to starve her to death. Well, there's no question that Maui was an asshole. It's the fact that there's not a clear-cut villain anymore. And they wanted to vote blue with no ID. Yeah, that happens too. None of these creators have read Dante's Inferno. Different types and degrees of sin, but they all belong in hell. Dude, what was that? Is that game Dante's Inferno? I can't remember. I played it years ago. Is that the name of the game? Because that game was freaking awesome. Uh-oh, what is Max saying now? Well, Mass, we already covered it. But basically, she's saying that Marvel Rivals... I'll just give you the summary. Said that Marvel Rivals created this Emma Frost character to make men... porn-addicted men addicted to drag queens or some shit like that. So... it's unhinged. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. Asmongold speaks out about trans children. Says every trans kid is actually a victim of a parent with mental illness.
And so, like, I really...
Hang on a second, let me get the audio figured out.
You can be groomed for sure. No, and that's a good point, right? Is that, like, that's why I said as an adult, is because, like, if you're a kid and, like, you get fed a lot of propaganda and, like, messaging, like, I feel like every trans kid is actually a victim of a parent with a mental illness. That's what I believe. And so, like, I really, and this, you got a kid that's like 17, right? I mean, it's a little bit more, you know, it's like not really as definitive. But like, if you have a kid that's like pre-puberty and they're trans, your parents have a mental illness.
See, I agree with him there, although I go further on that. I think if you were trans, you have a mental illness, but that's a whole different topic. Still remember when they had that fake Angry Christians Outside E3 for that Dante's Inferno game? Did they really do that? Because I played that game. What could they have possibly freaked out about? Dante Alighieri's 14th century narrative poem, The Divine Comedy. Also, yeah, Divine Comedy. That's what it was called. Thank you. After Snow White, Rachel might hide in a cave. Nah, Jean, she's still gonna get roles, or maybe they will go back. Maybe she'll go back to like Broadway or something. There are no vegan pets. 100%, exactly. Yeah, John, here's the thing. Asmongold is a center-left, like a 90s Democrat type. So again, I don't look to him for all of my base takes, but he has a large platform. So it is nice when he says very obvious, clear-cut things like this. It's sad that it requires somebody with the size of the platform that he has to say like common sense things for people to go like, whoa, that's insane, right? While it might not be reality, it does provide a good vision of hell and a good purpose for hell that aligns with God's nature. Christian iconography had a cross under his chest. But are you saying that like it's a good thing or a bad thing? I thought his like design looked really, really cool. EA spent too much on marketing for Dante's Inferno. Did they? All I know is I really liked Dante's Inferno. That game was really cool. He'll get nuked off the internet if he goes all the way. That could be true, John. I think honestly he might be less receptive to progressive crap than he tries to lead on to. But I think he's had so many spicy takes recently that he has to be very careful what he says. And I get it. I understand that. Oh my god. Anyways, guys, I think that's probably a good place to leave off. Potentially a bad thing for Christian outrage anti-types like Melonie Mac. Yeah, I guess that's true. Dante's Inferno's hell exists as a purgatory. You rise through the levels of hell until eventually you reach heaven. It's a purifying fire, so in a way it's hopeful. Interesting. Dante's Inferno was a God of War clone. All right, well, cool. Then I have played God of War then, basically. Asmon is living in Austin. If you know, you know. His mom was a hardcore conservative and it rubbed off. Interesting. I thought Austin was a liberal area. Am I thinking of the wrong place? It's about that control, not the guns. Hey, leave my guns alone, man. Patriot, the game is fantastic. The game is really good. I don't know how it holds up today, but I remember picking that one up at like Game Crazy on a deal. Or it might have been GameStop at the time. Maybe Game Crazy had closed at that point, but I got it used for my Xbox, and man, that game was sick. It was really good. They think they're doing a polarize against us, but they are fewer and more extreme. It's an easy judo reversal, and it's a fatal one. Yeah, Austin is a liberal shithole, but his mom was a hardcore conservative. Interesting. Although Purgatorio and Paradiso were boring to me. You know what? The funny thing about that is Dante's Inferno. How many of you guys played Lords of Shadow, Castlevania Lords of Shadow? Because when I was playing Castlevania Lords of Shadow a few years back for the first time, it kind of reminded me of Dante's Inferno. Am I insane? Or are there similarities? Because I felt like there were similarities a little bit in the theme of the game, the story, whatnot. They were both great games in my opinion. Lords of Shadow 2 is terrible. I tried to finish that game again last year, I think, and I couldn't do it. I'm like, God, this game sucks. But I feel like Lords of Shadow and Dante's Inferno were kind of cut from the same cloth. Both fantastic games. Actually, I kind of want to go back and play Lords of Shadow at some point. Maybe we'll do that next week. I don't know. There's a reason most just read Inferno. Well, Patriot, all I can tell you is I didn't read the book, but the game is very, very good. Dante's Inferno stuck on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Yeah, I played it on my 360. You don't see it, but you picked Dante's Inferno. I thought Lords of Shadow and Dante's Inferno had very similar themes, to be honest. But part of that had to do with the fact that I think what Dante's Inferno, he was going to hell to rescue his dead wife's soul from hell, right? And then in Castlevania Lords of Shadow, wasn't he trying to bring his wife back to life? I can't remember. Maybe that's where I saw the similarity. I don't know. That Castlevania game killed the franchise? You mean 2, right? Because Lords of Shadow 1 was fantastic. Let me see what you said. Oh, this is a great place to leave off. Time to own Melonie Mac and go consume Oh my god. Yeah, I got eaten. It's on the Series X for $15. I don't have a Series S or X. I play on PC, and then my kids have a Xbox One X that they got from their uncle. So you remember people hating it, huh? I thought both games were great. I don't know. Kingdom Hearts games and meme clips. I was drawn by the voice actor Tony J. Oh yeah, Tony J is the he's the, what do they call him in Legacy of Kain? I can't remember he's like not like the hive mind or whatever. The Elder God. Oh, Tony J is fantastic in Legacy of Kain. That game, right? I tell you what. Obviously, it's an old game. I didn't want to play the Legacy of Kain remaster because it didn't look that good, to be honest, in my opinion. I hate saying that. It just didn't look like I'd have that much fun playing it now. But the story and voice acting for the Legacy of Kain games is some of the best writing that's out there. Yeah, the Elder God. Hey, Makini Draws. Dude, I would say, as far as like movies go, I post lame memes. I would say go and actually watch Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, you need to see it with, I saw it in movie theater when I was a kid when it first came out. Surround sound, big screen, very awesome movie. Very cool. Oh no, Remy, the sequel was dog shit. The sequel was true and utter dog shit. It was terrible. The remasters are bad. Yeah, you know, honestly, Equilibrium, I saw the remaster for Legacy of Kain, and I'm like, I just don't care. It just doesn't look good. Jacob's Ladder, great allegory for purgatory. Divine Comedy was good, but the religious read that hit me the hardest was Dorothy L. Sayers' Letters to a Diminished Church. Hook, you've got lots of reading recommendations. One of these days when I actually have time to read, I'll hit you up. You can give me some reading material. Give me a list put together. Rev made a video about an influencer using AI to fake having Down syndrome. Oh, okay. Hang on. I said it was a good place to leave off. Hey, 40k Empress, what did Melonie Mac do? She claims that the new Emma Frost character is designed for porn-addicted men to develop sexual feelings for gay drag queens. That's what she's done now. In a nutshell. Hang on, guys. Hang on. I have the video. Let me get this for you. Hang on. I have to find this video. Hang on. I bookmarked it, and then I forgot I had this for Wednesday night's stream when I had Leon on here. But I've got it. Hang on. Let me find it. Well, I did have the whole 2-minute video. Oh well, that's fine. We're getting close, we're getting close, we're getting close. That's what she said. Hang on. All right, here we go. All right, so I believe this is what you're talking about right here, okay? Let me see. Thick thighs save lives, yeah. His caption on the video is goated. So this is one of those videos where they actually have like the AI for the comment section, right? This is like solid freaking gold. I'm down if she's down, yeah. Make sure the audio's the right level here.
If she's down, I'm down. I'm a chromosexual now. Universal face straight out of downtown.
Straight out of downtown. I'm gonna move me out of the way so you guys can actually read that.
She can handle my special needs. Is she trying to get happy like Angelina's full leaves? Cake, no matter the baker. I reach you for a 7 out of 46. Hola, como estas? Damn syndrome. I didn't know they started making them like this.
The Damn Syndrome one, I think possibly might be my favorite, but there's a lot of like bangers in here. It's real. So this is an OnlyFans girl, and she put a Down syndrome filter over her face. Not even kidding. Okay. Yes, Remy. Technically, people with Down syndrome have gone on to work jobs, get married, all sorts of stuff. I don't think it's to the point where they're not able to consent. Most of the time what I've seen is people with Down syndrome marrying other people with Down syndrome, which I'm not even going to make jokes about that. I'm not going there. I'm going to try to be a good person and not say what popped into my brain. But we're just going to play the rest of this. Yeah. I forgot about that one. What's the OR link? You guys know what the R stands for, right? Do I would know what REALF is? I think you can guess.
They might be down, but something is definitely a scarlet slow Hudson and half away. I bet she is down to fuck. At least the comments ain't disabled from a Hayek. I need someone special in my life. Me, I'm just one time. Selena Gomez, Jenny down the block. This is the rated R material I've been waiting for my whole life.
Oh man. And I get it. These get to be a little like repetitive after you've seen the first couple of these. It's you know, it's still funny though. I mean, holy shit. The double down wedding. Downies can make normal children. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I assumed that you'd have a much higher chance of having children that have, you know, side effects, but maybe not, I guess. I don't know. There are certain levels to it, exactly. What the heck is wrong with people? Here's the thing. Oblivion, as somebody who does a lot of shit posting online, because that's what I use Twitter for, other than like finding topics and information, I can appreciate the shit posting. I really can. Now, if they're serious, that's a whole other topic. I don't even want to think about that. Yeah, the comment section can get wild. That's what the internet is all supposed to be about. Screw the woke sensitive BS. Yeah. You just got up. I'm sorry. What a way to start your day. What a way to start your day. So, yeah, Tekla, the thing is, this woman doesn't actually have downs. That's the whole thing, is it's a filter, right? And so, apparently, I guess Rev Says Desu covered this. She got a lot of traction with this video. It got her a lot of new subscribers. I don't know. I don't even want to think about that. That's just insane. All right, guys. That being said, I appreciate all of you guys hanging out. This has turned out to be a freaking awesome stream tonight, given the fact that we didn't stream last night, and it's been a really exhausting week. Baseball and work and all sorts of drama. I've talked about it on Discord, a whole ton of shit. Yeah, you guys freaking made my night tonight. This is awesome. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit of sleep. I don't have any baseball tomorrow. I got to get my cars washed at some point, do a bunch of errands, maybe get some videos made. Yeah, it's even funnier because it's like she doesn't even have downs. Yeah, she might be down, but something is definitely up. That one was like, holy shit, I just can't even right now. So I know Rev's not a woman. Did I say she? I was talking about this chick, not Rev. I was talking about her, not Rev, guys. Chill. You gotta remember, I'm exhausted here, okay? I know Rev is not a woman. I am 100% aware of that fact. If I said she, I was talking about her, and I didn't mean to say Rev was a she. You know what? Piss off. I'm gonna go to bed. I can't take you guys anymore. Just streaming Wind Waker tomorrow, no responsibilities. You know, Wind Waker's a good one. I need to give that one another go, because that's one that I actually gave up on too early on, due to the fact that I was like, oh, I don't like the art style, you know, back when I liked to complain about that kind of crap. Art style is only part of it. Yes, Rev is due to the femboy VTuber avatar. That I am aware. And somehow he makes a very simple video take 20 minutes to explain. It's quite a talent. Anyways, guys, I'm heading to bed. I will catch you all on Monday. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging.